Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. I just wasn't sure if we were waiting on quorum or.
Welcome to our hybrid meeting. Participants in the room, please do not join the meeting in Zoom. Virtual participants, if you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. Members attending virtually, if you are able, please activate your video for purposes of quorum and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. Staff, if you are able, please activate your video when you are speaking. Members of the committee, when you wish to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote, please push the person button on your microphone or raise your hand virtually. Those in the room will have their microphone turned on when they are recognized to speak. Those attending virtually can unmute themselves when recognized. When you are finished, all should mute themselves. Members of the public who have registered to speak. Those appearing virtually, the name you entered in Zoom must match the name you entered in registration. You will remain muted until called upon. If you are here in person, when you are called to speak, approach one of the two podiums on either side of the dais and you will be recognized. For all registrants, the clerk will tell you, excuse me, the clerk will tell you when your time is up. After all public speakers, a member of the body may ask you a question. If you need to share documentation with the committee, please send it to the email listed on today's agenda. Thanks. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jim. Are there any notified absences today?
There are not.
Okay. Can you please do the roll?
Sure. Alder Miadzi. Alder Revere.
Here.
Alder Revere is here. Mr. Baruchuk? Mr. Baruchuk is here. Ms. Farley?
Present.
Ms. Farley is here. Ms. Westra?
Here.
Ms. Westra is here. Alder Knox? Alder Knox, let's see. Ms. Carter?
Present.
Ms. Carter is here. Chair, we do have quorum.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have approval of the minutes from August 21st. Turn you on, Zeke.
Move to approve the minutes from August 21st.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, the minutes from August 21st are approved. Next up, approval of minutes for August 28th.
I move to approve the minutes from August 28th.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, the approval of minutes from August 28th is approved. Jim, do we have anyone registered for public comment?
Let me check. We do not.
Okay, thank you. At this time, committee, members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city's ethics code. Do we have any tonight? Seeing none. Next up is presentation of the consent agenda.
Okay, so the proposed consent agenda for ALRC meeting September 18th, 2024. Just going to read it out very quick. The committee's going to talk about it, and then once they make their final approval of the consent agenda, I'll read it more thoroughly. So recommend council to grant operator license application item 2, change of agent items 3 and 4, entity reorganizations 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. Recommend to council to grant with conditions a public hearing new license, number 38. And recommend to council to re-refer public hearing new license, item 36.
Committee, are there any questions about the consent agenda? What is your?
I have. Hello?
Yep.
Okay, I have one. I don't know if Alder Knox sent in an email or not, but he's asking for item 43 to be referred until the agent can have a meeting with the captain of South District and himself.
So let's leave that till we get to that item because that's not on the existing consent agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
The applicant is registered for that item too.
So any
Then
other?
I move the consent agenda.
Okay. Colin, did you have anything?
Sure. Can I just ask about number 36?
Sure. So the why it's on the referral. So the application, we discovered that the loan officer that was on the application is not of legal drinking age yet, so they're not eligible to be an officer. And since they're the only one, I had a lot of back and forth emails with them. They said there was an alternative person they were going to use, and they were going to get me an updated application and background check form, but that never happened. And so I told them the committee would refer them because we wouldn't have time to run the background check, and they were okay with it being referred to next month's meeting.
Okay, sounds good. If I think I heard someone move, so I'll second.
Thank you. Any other questions on the consent agenda? Seeing none, any objections to approval? Seeing none, the consent agenda is now passed. Jim, if you could read it out officially now.
Sure. So the past consent agenda for September 18th, 2024. Recommend council to grant item 2, operator license application for Dontel Jefferson. This was a recommendation to approve from the ALRC Operators Subcommittee from September 28th, or from August 28th. Item number 3, change of agent, Quick Trip Inc. Item 4, change of agent, Gerald Bartel Community Theater Foundation. Item 5, entity reorganization for Speedway LLC. Item 6, entity reorganization, 7-Eleven Inc. Item 8, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 6525 Kilpatrick Lane. 9, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 4825 American Parkway. Item 10, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 1421 Monroe Street. Item 11, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 1117 North Sherman Avenue. Item 12, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 2601 Fish Hatchery Road. Item 13, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 4402 East Buckeye Road. Item 14, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 6702 Raymond Road. Item 15, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 2538 Fish Hatchery Road. Item 16, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 7502 Mineral Point Road. 17, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 7717 Mineral Point Road. Item 18, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 1625 North Stoughton Road. Number 19, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc. at 3153 Maple Grove Road. Item 20, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc. at 4741 Lean Road. Item 21, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 401 North 3rd Street. Item 22, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 3528 East Washington Avenue. Item 23, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc. at 1434 Northport Drive. Item 24, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 2402 Broadway. Item 25, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc., 4624 Monona Drive. Item 26, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc. at 3401 University Ave. 27, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc. at 5445 University Ave. Number 28, entity reorganization, Quick Trip Inc. at 6202 Schrader Road. Recommended council to grant with conditions. Item 38, public hearing new license, Roxy Madison LLC at 327 West Gorham Street. The conditions for this are, number 1, the establishment shall hold a valid entertainment license under Madison General Ordinances, Section 38.06, Para 11. Condition number 2, food shall be available at all times. And condition number 3, no patrons are permitted to enter or re-enter the establishment after 1:30 a.m. on Friday or Saturday nights. And just a note, this was address correction. They were approved, I think, at 329 West Gorham Street. So this was just a correction for a license that recently issued. And the conditions are the ones that the committee put on previously. And lastly, recommended council to re-refer public hearing new license, El Rancho Breakfast and Tacos LLC at 824 East Johnson Street.
Thank you very much. Up next for our new business, we have 2 items that require interpretation. We will take those items up first. The first one is a change of license premise. Item number 29 for Casina Nica LLC, doing business as Los Remedios at 1701 Moreland Road. Jim, do we have anyone registered for this?
Yes, Maria Villarreal.
Okay, if the applicant and our interpreter can come up, that would be great.
Okay, raise your right hand and you affirm you'll accurately interpret English to Spanish and Spanish to English? I do. Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, welcome, and if you can introduce yourselves and give us a little bit of information about what you're going to be doing with the change of license premises.
De licencia.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Villarreal, soy propietaria de Los Remedios Cocina Nica y la razón por la cual estoy aquí es porque quería extender un poco más, tener personas más afuera, sentar personas más afuera en el restaurante.
Hi, thank you for having me here. My name is Maria Villarreal, and I am the owner of Los Remedios. And the reason that I am here today is because I want to have more people sitting outside.
Okay, great. Committee, any questions for the applicant? Mr. Bruchak.
So your current capacity on inside is 104, is that correct?
La capacidad que tiene dentro es de 104 personas, ¿correcto? Yes.
And you're asking to keep 104 inside, but increase outside from 24 to 300.
Y lo que quiere es mantener los 104 dentro e incrementar los de fuera de 24 a 300.
No.
No.
Lo que pasa es de que tenemos un espacio que queremos el 19 de octubre tener como un picnic por el mes de la hispanidad. Queremos que más personas estén afuera, compartir, comer y con la música en vivo.
Ok, ¿solo para ese día?
Bueno, sí, ese día y como otros días que sean así como,
Okay.
como festivos.
Okay.
Ajá.
So the reason we are asking for this is because we have a space outside and we would like to have on October 19th have a celebration for the Hispanic heritage and be able to have a picnic and have the people outside. I wanted to I clarified if it was just for one day that day, and she said that maybe that day another like holidays, specific holidays that are relevant.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further right now.
Okay. Ms. Carter.
Thank you. And I am not seeing where is the outdoor space? Can you tell me where your restaurant is located?
No veo aquí dónde está ese espacio exterior. ¿Me puede decir dónde está
On Moreland Road.
dónde está localizado su restaurante en Moreland Road?
¿Cómo?
¿Que dónde está el restaurante en Moreland Road?
Es donde era The Farm antes.
It's what used to be the farm. It's a
Okay.
red building.
Yep, it used to be Patricia's, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I know exactly where it is. Okay, so you do have a large parking lot, correct?
Tiene un estacionamiento grande.
Sí.
A fairly large parking lot.
Bastante grande. Yes.
Okay. And what's the proposed capacity for outdoors? If it's not 300, what is it?
¿Cuál es la capacidad que quiere para el exterior si no son esos 300 que decía antes?
Pues exactamente como si usted sabe, si viene gente de afuera, pueden ser entre 200 personas, 150 personas afuera.
Yeah, maybe depending on how many people come, maybe 150, 200.
Okay, because you have 250, that's crossed out, and then you said 300, and now you're saying 300 is not the number. That's why I'm asking.
Sí, le estoy preguntando porque en la solicitud tiene 250, pero está tachado y después pone 300.
Sí, es que la muchacha me dijo como para que no, si llegaba un poco más de gente, no pudiéramos tener algún complaint o algo así.
Yeah, I was told by the lady, la persona que recoge los papeles,
Sí.
the lady that pick up the paperwork, that maybe I can change it just in case more people come, so we don't have any
Okay.
issues.
That's fine. My other question is, I know you're thinking about future holidays to have outdoor events. Obviously, winter is fast approaching, even though it's warm today. So are we looking at most of this happening during warm weathers? And what security measures are for the outdoors?
Sí, entonces, lo que dices que para futuras fiestas, días feriados, pero va a llegar ya el invierno, no sé si esto va a ocurrir cuando haya el clima un poco mejor y cuál es su plan de seguridad para el exterior.
De hecho, el que tenemos para el 19 es el último, o sea, es el de este año nomás. Y en el futuro, si lo llegamos a hacer, pues actualmente teníamos 4 personas de seguridad, pero estamos dispuestos a poner más, si es posible, el doble.
So for this year, basically this October 19th would be the last one of the year. And we used to have like 4 people in security, but if necessary, we could double that number.
Very good. Thank you very much. And good luck on your new expansion there.
Gracias.
Thank you.
One question I have, are you planning on having any kind of live music in the outdoor space?
¿Tienen pensado tener música en vivo en el exterior?
Sí, sí se puede, sí.
Yes, if possible.
Okay, because this is just for the change of premise, that you would need to get an entertainment license to have live music outside. Attorney McReynolds.
Esto es solo para...
Thank you, Chair. We did confirm, and Jim can confirm this too, but they do have an entertainment license with no conditions currently.
Sí, tiene una licencia de entretenimiento sin ningún tipo de condicionamiento.
They do? Okay. I was not seeing that, so.
No lo estaba viendo eso.
I also had a hard time finding it on the publicly available search, but it is in Legistar.
Pero
Okay.
está ahí.
Perfect. Any other questions for the applicant? No, Alder Revere.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you.
I just wanted to confirm that if you haven't already, you should visit with the city zoning staff across the street to make sure that your zoning is in order for any outdoor use for food and drink.
Si todavía no lo ha hecho, yo le recomendaría que fuera a hablar con los del Departamento de Zonificación en el edificio de ahí, simplemente para asegurarse de que la zonificación acepta la comida y la bebida.
Okay. Okay.
So as a reminder, that's separate from our process here.
Okay.
And when you first opened the restaurant, you would have had all those inspections, and one of them was zoning. But zoning has jurisdiction, special jurisdiction over outdoor food and drink in the city of Madison. And so it's important that even when you receive our approval, you also are in compliance with anything that they might ask of you. You might have to file a separate application with them.
Simplemente es un recordatorio que, aparte de la licencia que le podemos dar aquí, lo de zonificación es completamente independiente y que ellos son los que regulan cualquier tipo de comida o bebida en el exterior y tienen que cumplir con esas regulaciones.
Okay. Okay, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Oh, there we go. Ms. Carter.
I move approval.
Una moción para aprobar.
Alder?
I was going to second it, but I'll let him say she spoke out loud.
Yep.
Turn my mic off then.
Okay. Attorney McReynolds.
Hi. I did have some questions for the applicant and some comments for the ALRC. My questions for the applicant are for the October 19th event. Are you planning on certain times for the event? When you would end the live music? And if you would be able to provide the clerk's office and the ALRC a more precise, like a drawing of the property. It can be by hand, but a drawing of the property and showing where the outdoor space would be and how that works.
Y lo otro sería que si puede ofrecerle al comité un dibujo del terreno, aunque sea a mano, solo para saber dónde está ese espacio exterior, que es lo que va a ocupar.
Sí.
Entonces, horario.
De mediodía a las 8 de la noche.
The schedule is planning to be like from noon to 8 p.m. ¿La música en vivo cuándo pararía?
Es que la música en vivo es como pausado. Puede haber DJ y luego la música y luego otro DJ y así.
Okay. For the music, we are thinking that maybe it's going to be a mix of a DJ, live music, maybe another DJ later. ¿Y el horario cuándo piensan que parar la música?
A las 8
Yeah, like we were thinking of stopping the music also at 8.
o 7, si ellos tienen alguna sugerencia.
Yep, maybe 7, or if you have like any suggestions on when to do it, I'm listening.
Okay. The reason I'm asking for the kind of diagram of where this is located, because for a change of premise, the ALRC needs to be very precise about where they are licensing the alcohol. So that's why I was asking for some better clarification about where exactly these 200 people will be.
Lo hago ahorita para que lo vea en la mano.
Do you want me to do it right now? I could draft it by hand right now. Or
If you, once you're done talking, if you would like to do it now and give it to Jim, the clerk, who's in the room, then you won't have to turn it in later, if you're comfortable doing that.
sí,
That would be my recommendation.
Okay, sí.
Okay, yep, I'll do that.
And then for the ALRC, this seems to be more of a temporary request than a permanent one. Or if it is permanent, you might want to consider some conditions about the timing of the live music, or how many events per year, or the dates of events, or something like that. Because if you just give a blanket approval, because they have no conditions on their entertainment license, you would be giving essentially like full approval with no restrictions at all. So I just wanted you to consider that as you're making this decision. Thank you.
Rorschach.
Thank you. Thanks for that point, Attorney McReynolds. I was going to highlight that I support this motion, but I wanted to make sure everyone was aware that what the Attorney McReynolds just said is that this is a permanent change of premises with no conditions for occasional events, one event this year and occasional events on holidays going forward. I have no reason to doubt that the applicant actually intends to do that. But it would seem like she could go beyond that if we approve this as is. It also says on the application form, we would like to have family afternoons on Sundays in summertime, some food, drinks, and live music with adequate security measures. So Sundays in summertime appears to be more than just occasional special occasions. So I want to make sure the committee knows that what we're voting on before we vote on it. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant or discussion? Alder.
I just wanted to see if there was a way that you can actually be more specific and basically write down exactly, rather than just to have a blanket statement of when you're going to have the activities. Chair, is that in order to ask for specific details on that rather than, I know we have the holidays in October 19th, but can we ask to be more specific, I guess?
We can, but unless they're conditions of the license, then they don't have any bearing of what we're having them do. So unless we put those out as conditions of they can only do so many events, they can only have it on these days, they can do that. Unless they're a condition of the license, then there's not anything that we can do with that. Like them writing it down is their, best effort of what they think they're gonna do now.
Okay. Probably Sherry can add some light.
Ms. Carter? Yep.
Yes, I think that in order to put down conditions on how many events they can have a year, if we could get an idea from the applicant of those tentative holidays that they want to do something, I think at that point, then we can actually put down some parameters. Offhand, I would say 6 events a year. I don't know if that is acceptable to the applicant because it seems like they want to do something, but they don't know exactly what they want to do, but they know they want to do it. If that makes sense.
President Cole?
Thank you. Well, so I was wondering since you have a condition that doesn't have any conditions whatsoever, and for other licenses, how you guys have adopted some standards that you have new licenses, wouldn't it be appropriate maybe to set up such a shit. Oops, sorry. Oops, I saw it on camera. I'm driving. Shouldn't be doing this. But anyhow, so conditions such as like she already said that 8 o'clock is about the time that she's going to stop the music. Is that a problem for the board? Is 8 o'clock too late? Can you just make a very broad condition saying, or saying that you will days of the week until certain time, and just leave it at that? Or do you really have to be that specific about how many activities per year? Can you say like on the weekends you can go this late, like you don't in other cases?
Okay, thank you.
I think the problem with that is, Chair, are you there?
I am, but I wasn't recognizing, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna recognize Colin, but Colin says that you can
I
go.
humbly move aside for Colin.
So Colin?
I think that President Cole is suggesting that we add some conditions that would kind of limit what we allow for this. 300 is a lot of people. Like I mentioned before, I have no reason to doubt the applicant's sincerity, but it might make sense if we said like 24 events a year, music has to be turned off by 8 p.m. I think that would go with the spirit of what the applicant is asking for, but also we could have the peace of mind and know we didn't just we just didn't do something that was outside of everyone's intention. Is that what you were suggesting, President Cole?
Yes, I actually do agree with. on dictating dates and things like that at the last minute. That is just going to be very hard. So just like you guys have the purview here to say how many per year and the time, that historically that works, for those areas. Instead of just saying, okay, for this date and this date and that date, just say this is the number per year and these are the hours of operation that we would like you to do. And if she's agreeable with that, then fine. If not, maybe refer to some other date. But that's what I was suggesting. I agree with that.
Okay, thank you. Attorney McReynolds.
Thank you, Chair. I realized I had an email forwarded to me from Jennifer Zillavy that was sent to her by Captain Zanders. I'm not sure if Captain Kamaski was also aware of this, but Captain Zanders included in an email, and so I asked Jem if he could send this out to the ALRC members so they could see the picture. It's kind of like an overhead picture with a marked area that's fenced in, and that's, I'm assuming, what the applicant is asking for, that kind of outdoor area. So if we can look at this picture, it would probably actually be better than something that she can draw, if she can tell us if this picture is accurate and the area that's marked with an X is where she plans to have these people outside. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the translator.
I'm translating simultaneously.
Captain Zanders did say he does not believe that the space would allow 300 people. He is concerned about security. And so I think maybe we could talk about the outdoor security a little bit more with the applicant, as well as confirm if this picture is what they're planning on for their change of condition.
So I'm going to ask them.
Entonces yo creo que va a enseñar la imagen. Entonces esa es la imagen que mandó el capitán de policía. Es esa la zona primera que se utilizado. No, that's not the area. Esto es el de frente del edificio. Okay. So it's basically, it's not, that's where the X is the patio, and there is, it's in the front of the building, in an area between the building and the parking lot. So basically, if you see the map, the superior, the part on the higher part of the picture, that's the area, not the X to the right.
Y también es como todas las personas, pero adentro y afuera, o sea, no 300 personas afuera,
Oh,
sino
okay.
dentro de la...
And we were not thinking of having 300 people outside. The 300 was the amount between inside and outside.
Very popular right now. Mr. Bruchak.
So I was just gonna talk out loud instead of under my breath, since this is a public meeting, but we're, the inside is 100 right now, so it'd be mean 200 outside. If the total will be 300.
Yep. Ms. Carter.
So I have a suggestion, and I know that the applicant wants to do something on the 19th of October, but I would like to see to table this so that the applicant can draw exactly where she wants this outside area to be. And then I will take my motion off the table because we're going into other areas of my original motion. And the applicant also has to talk to zoning, and it looks like there needs to be a conversation with the actual alder of the district and then additional conversations with the captain. Now, I'm not saying that that can stop us from tonight, but I would like for her to be able to draw the area and not having to rush this minute as soon as she gets done drawing the area and have more being able to concentrate on that without us throwing questions and guidelines to her. I think it will be more clear on what she wants. And then I would like to see her, if it passes tonight, I would like to see her get in touch with both the captain and the alder of the district. Those are my 25 cents on this.
The applicant says, okay.
Alder Miazzi.
I was just going to piggyback on that and just see if there was any community meeting with the residents conducted already, or even with the alder.
No, I have not had that meeting.
All right, thank you.
Attorney McReynolds, I have one question for you. For a change of license premise, this for us is a unique situation because usually outdoor beer gardens, that type of stuff, or entertainment, usually comes forward in a different way, usually the entertainment license or something like that versus just adding an outdoor license premise. So I think the normal clerk's process isn't necessarily followed for like a new license. Any conditions that we put on the outdoors, would those be new conditions to their liquor license then?
Yes, looking at their alcohol license, it looks like they do not have any conditions. Let me just double check that. I know their entertainment license has no conditions. Maybe Mr. Verbit can double check and make sure if their alcohol license has any conditions. I will note for the ALRC, I think there was some confusion about the total capacity in the inside and outside. Right now, they are currently licensed for 80 inside and 24 outside. So they are licensed currently for 24 outside. So basically what they're asking for is an extension of obviously the number of people outside, but the space where it will be outside. And normally, you know, if this were to come forward in an application brand new, that would just be written in that part of the application that describes the premise. So this is kind of just amending that part of the application to include this larger space that they're asking for. I hope that answers your question, Chair.
Yes, it does.
There are no conditions on the alcohol license.
And President Cole.
Thank you, Chair. So, Attorney Reynolds, to follow up there with Amy's question, I was also a little bit confused about discussing entertainment license on the public hearing that is for something different. So wouldn't the entertainment license need its own public hearing? And like, I wasn't clear on the answer to Amy, or maybe Amy wasn't, maybe she was clear, but my question is, are the conditions then that you're placing will be placed on the main license, or do you have to reopen the the entertainment license, which you didn't publish, to make conditions on the entertainment license? or is it okay not to publish a discussion on the entertainment license?
We did not need to notice the entertainment license because they're not asking for any changes to the entertainment license because there are no conditions on the entertainment license. So what we're looking at, the ALRC would not be putting conditions on the entertainment license tonight. They would be putting any conditions on where and when alcohol can be served.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the second question is, again, this is totally throwing me off. So if when they're asking for changes on premises, is that the same as changes of capacity? I thought that capacity was determined by zoning.
Yeah. So to me, it sounds like what the applicant is asking for is a change of license premise because the current premise that is licensed does not include the space of where they want to serve alcohol. So it has to be every application when someone applies, it has to say with specificity where the alcohol is going to be served. So if it's like on the patio or whatever, but now since they want to expand to a new area, whatever that space is that we still need to kind of see in a map to define it, that is what the change of condition is, to add that space into a place where they are licensed to serve alcohol.
So you're just approving the perimeter of the area. However, the capacity still has to be approved by zoning. So we
That's
don't
my
know
understanding.
So technically, we don't know if it's 100, 30, 24, 30, whatever zoning says, it will be the actual capacity. But doesn't sound like she went to zoning, so we don't know what the capacity is.
Right. The ALRC does not determine the capacity. I think it's more of an idea of, trying to gauge the size of sort of the event. But yeah, the ALRC itself would not be the final word on capacity.
I'll stop this because Jim wants to say something, and I'll let him because I think he wants to say the same thing as me and it's more official from him.
Yeah. I'll say the ALRC can set capacity, just like building inspection can, but whatever the lowest approved capacity is between the two, that's the one that needs to be abided by. So if ALRC says you can have 200, but building inspection says you can only have 100, then you have to do by the 100. And then vice versa, if building inspection says 200, but ALRC says 100, it's 100 because between the two, the agency and the committee, the lowest one is the one that you need to follow.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But I mean, going from 24 to 200, that's kind of a huge leap there. So I imagine that zoning will have a lot to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carter.
I just wanted to check in with our applicant as we continue to discuss her application.
So did you have a specific question or just to see
The
how?
specific question is, how is she doing with the map that she's drawing out?
So we haven't gotten to the map drawing yet. So right now, Sherry Carter has, as the motion referral, has withdrawn her motion. Is that something we need to vote on? Since there was a second.
I don't think so. I think you just would.
No.
Okay. So we have no motion on the floor. So I think one of the discussions was to table this so that they can write down a few more specifics, or we can refer this to next month. Those are our two options. Ms. Carter.
So, yes, when is our meeting scheduled for next month?
It is the 16th.
Okay, and it still would have to go to the Common Council.
Yep.
So I would prefer that and not to hinder this applicant to see if we can table it and give her a moment and move on to the next item and then come back to her.
Y después poder venir con usted.
Okay, Mr. Bruchak.
O sea, está diciendo como que parar, que dibuje el mapa y después volver a hablar del caso.
I'll pass.
Okay, second on the table. Any other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
Seeing none, any objections to tabling?
¿Hay alguna objeción a
Seeing none,
Can we clarify when we'll take this back up?
Yes, so we will take this up after the next one that has interpretation, which is item 35, which will be the one we go to next. Let them work on that. We will check in with them after our next applicant to see where we're at.
Siguiente solicitante.
Thank you. This is currently tabled. Let you go back. If you could
Dibujar el mapa. So just basically draw the map.
draw the map of the space,
Dibujar el mapa del espacio.
and where exactly the
dónde exactamente,
liquor will be,
dónde es donde se va a
anything
servir
like that on
alcohol.
the premises, a little bit more
Las
specific.
instalaciones, para ser específico.
That'll be great.
Eso estaría muy bien. ¿Quiere papel?
And then we will call you back up when we're, come back to this. Okay. Next up is item 35, Campomar LLC at 2601 West Beltline Highway, number 106. Do we have anyone registered for this item?
Yes. Yes, Roger Dela Cruz is registered for this item.
Okay, Roger, if you could come up. Yep, and we'll wait. No problem.
We have like a piece of paper that is probably more clear than the one I have here. Basically just the plain on the back or something.
Here, I got the back consent agenda. Okay, we're all set. Okay, thank you for sitting through this and coming up for this. If you could introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your business and what you're planning on doing with the new license.
Si quiere eso presentarse, hablar un poco sobre su negocio, que es lo que puede hacer una nueva licencia.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Rogelio de la Cruz. Soy el socio mayoritario de La Playita Tacos y Mariscos bajo la LLC Campomar. Mi negocio en sí, o nuestro negocio, es de comida de mariscos tradicional mexicana, estilo Nayarit, con otras fusiones en México. Tenemos alrededor de 4 meses operando y contamos con una licencia para alcohol de cerveza y vino. Durante estos meses que hemos estado trabajando, afortunadamente nos ha estado yendo muy bien, pero hemos notado que necesitamos subir los precios de nuestros alimentos y tener otro ingreso como el alcohol para poder seguir subsistiendo, ya que los mariscos son un poco caros y no nos alcanza realmente con la simple ganancia de la comida. Es por eso que hemos venido a solicitar la licencia del alcohol para poder tener mixed drinks como margaritas, mojitos y un par de tragos más, debido a que nuestro restaurante es de un tamaño muy pequeño.
So yeah, my name is Rodrigo, and Roger. Oh, okay. My name is Roger, and I am the main owner of the La Playita that operates as La Playita, but the business is Campomar, and we sell traditional Mexican shellfish. And we have been the business have been really well. Right now we have a license for beer and wine, and we have realized that we need either to raise prices because shellfish is kind of expensive, or also increment other revenue, like maybe being able to sell alcohol, like mixed drinks, maybe like margaritas and mojitos, because our space is quite limited.
Okay, thank you. Did you meet with the alder of the district?
¿Se ha reunido con el concejal del distrito?
¿Con el concejal de la policía?
No, el concejal, el representante.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
De la ciudad.
Do you know who the elder is? The name of the elder?
She just spoke. President Cole.
Yes, do you have a question? I'm sorry.
I was just asking if they met with you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he talked to me. We communicated to the neighborhood association, and it's my understanding that he talked to Sanders, but I can't confirm on that.
Yes, he met with the captain.
And he had a question for some fee for $10,000 or whatever. I did send an email to Jim about it, but I think the applicant may have been confused about the fee for the license. But that's all I got. No concerns back from the neighborhood associations.
Okay. Committee, are there any questions for the applicant, Ms. Carter?
Yes. Can you tell me how your business is doing currently since you want to add alcohol to the menu?
Sí, afortunadamente las ventas han estado muy bien a pesar del tamaño que tenemos, pero los insumos y los materiales que utilizamos al ser mariscos los precios son realmente caros, entonces las ganancias que estamos teniendo las estamos viendo muy limitadas, que apenas nos alcanza como para pagar la nómina y otros pagos, y por eso es que necesitamos incrementar las ventas para que podamos también nosotros poder subsistir y poder teniendo a los empleados que contamos en este momento, y de la misma manera pues intentar crecer el negocio.
Yeah, so basically the business has been good, but the problem is that the shellfish, the raw material that we use, the seafood, is very expensive. So basically we have been able to barely cover in payroll and other expenses, other payments. So we would like to be able to sell the alcohol in order to have some extra income to make sure that we can maintain the employments and the employees that we have now.
Okay. So that's my main question. The other feedback that I'm getting from folks in the area is that they don't know when you are open because your open sign is not bright. In other words, they can't see it from the street. Have you thought about changing that? I think that sign is from the previous tenant.
El problema es que como tenemos el freeway a un lado, tapa mucho la visión del restaurante. Y sí, hemos tenido muy buenos comentarios de las personas y les gusta mucho, pero sí, no tenemos idea muy clara de cómo poder hacernos más visibles en este momento. Pero las personas sí nos hacen mucho ese tipo de preguntas, y conforme a lo de las redes sociales teníamos un gestor que nos ayudaba a poner los horarios y a contestar las preguntas, pero pues la persona ya no trabaja con nosotros, se desapareció, y es que ahorita estamos intentando poner esa información nosotros para que la gente pueda saber qué días abrimos. Normalmente abrimos de lunes a viernes de 11 de la mañana a 9 de la noche, y fines de semana, sábado y domingos igualmente de 11 de la mañana a 9 y media de la noche. Esos son los horarios que manejamos. Estamos abiertos los 7 días de la semana.
Yeah, the problem we have is that we are right by the belt line, so it's the visibility from the road is not very high. And also we used to have a social media manager that was the one that was posting our schedules and the times we are open, but he left. And now we are dealing with that while we are also working. The days that we are open is Monday to Friday from 11 to 9 p.m., 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 9:30 p.m. So basically we are open 7 days a week.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I'm not talking about the belt line. I'm talking about the frontage road, which is right in front of our brigade. Not necessarily seeing if you were open from the belt line. Nevertheless, I think that if there are no more questions, I'd like to have a motion to approve. If there are no more questions.
Entonces, Sherry, ¿era una moción para aprobarlo? Tenemos-
I'm sorry, I have one more question, Chair. Would your alcohol consumption increase from 25% higher? Or would it stay at 25%?
You mean like the ratio between food and alcohol? 75 food and 25 alcohol? Yes, right, yeah. Entonces el ratio de comida y bebida de los ingresos se va a mantener 75% comida, 25% alcohol. Sí. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias. Tenemos una moción y alguien que la secunde la moción. ¿Alguien quiere más conversación? Más discusión sobre esto?
I don't think she had a question.
No parece que tenga una pregunta. Comité, ¿alguna otra pregunta? ¿Alguna otra discusión? ¿Alguna pregunta para el personal?
Any objections to approval?
¿Tiene alguna objeción para que se apruebe?
Seeing none, this item's approved.
Entonces se aprueba.
I'll just add while we have the interpreter here, the question about the $10,000. So I believe we have 5 of the regular licenses available. So after today, you can start reaching out to the city agencies that need to sign off on the license, building inspection, zoning, fire, and health. Once you have those sign-offs and you've paid for the license, you can claim one of those regular licenses. Like I said, we have 5 available. If you get that done before the council meeting that this goes before in October, you can always pay an additional $15 for a provisional license to be issued before the council meeting to still claim one of those 5 regular licenses.
¿Sabes de lo que están hablando?
Me refiero a las instalaciones, ¿no? Que estamos con las condiciones para operar las instalaciones. ¿A eso se refiere?
Yes. Is there a specific question about the?
No, I think it was
Okay,
just a
yeah, so-
statement. I think you
yeah,
guys are all
okay.
set. You can
Está bien, tiene otra
head back.
Sí. Thank you so much.
Hold on one second. Yep, Ms. Carter, did you have anything?
Yes, I do, because I didn't hear a motion and I didn't hear that it passed.
We took that you made the motion,
Okay, and then who's second?
Alder Madzi.
Because I didn't hear any of that. Okay, thank you.
Yep, and then you disappeared and came back and were kind of frozen, so.
Oh, I was frozen. Okay, well, I hate the winter, so that makes me sad.
And then you went poof, so. Right. Okay,
Thank you.
and then Alder.
Take it off the table in order to come back and look at the diagram.
Yep. Do we have a second to bring that up? Second by Mr. Bruchak. So item number, any objections bringing item 29 back? Seeing none, let's bring back up item 29. And they're explaining it all.
They're not ready. Should we go to another?
Ready? Yep, they're ready. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I think
we're
so.
back up.
Let's see how we
Okay.
do this.
I got the here and I got the picture more clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a map that we will put with the license. I will
Tenemos un
give
mapa
this
que vamos a poner
to
junto con la licencia.
Rick.
Entonces, the alcohol would be the area with the marks, with the little accent marks in between the building and the parking lot.
And
And
Jim,
she has an image in her phone that probably makes it clearer. What's the area?
and that's the Google,
Yeah, that's the Google Maps.
take a
Yeah, from Google Maps.
Google Maps. There we go. Thank you. Jim will be sending that out
Jim Van. Oh,
momentarily to everyone.
este para todo el mundo.
But the map does define the area between the
La zona
building
entre el edificio
and the parking lot.
y el estacionamiento.
One question I do have is, do you plan on fencing in the area, and how will you keep people from leaving the area with alcohol?
Controlar que la gente no salga de esa zona con el alcohol.
Sí. De hecho, o sea, de hecho también lo que queremos es como no vendemos mucho alcohol, o sea, tratar de no vender tanto alcohol, sino más es como la convivencia. Nosotros somos de Nicaragua, nunca había habido un restaurante nicaragüense aquí en Madison, en Wisconsin. Lo que queremos más es como darnos a conocer también más con gente de otros lados que vengan a compartir, a convivir. Y no, lo de nosotros no es el alcohol fuerte, no es el alcohol, sino es la comida. Pero pues yo sé que usted sabe que a veces alguien se quiere tomar una cerveza o algo así.
Yeah, we are not planning to sell that much alcohol. The main idea is to have a place to get people together. We are the first restaurant here in Madison, I believe in Wisconsin, from Nicaragua, and we would like to be able to open up to people from other origins, but our main thing is still food and not alcohol. Pero lo de cercar, ¿tiene alguna idea sobre acercar la zona o cómo controlar que la gente no salga de la zona?
Queremos como tener seguridad. Que esté en el borde del parking y en el restaurante, que no dejen pasar a la gente afuera con el alcohol.
Yeah, our idea is to have security that basically just going around the border of all this area, so they don't let people go through with any alcohol.
Vamos a acercar también, vamos a acercar.
Okay, and we are also planning to fence the area.
Ms. Carter?
I'm fine with that.
Mr. Bruchak?
Can we clarify the capacity? If we approve today, this is a question for the applicant. Are you okay if we approve today a capacity on the inside 80, on the outside 300?
You said 80 inside and 300 outside?
That's what I said, correct.
With 80 inside and 300 out, 80 dentro y 300 afuera. ¿Estaría bien con esa capacidad, si se limita esa capacidad? Yes.
And that could become lower once you, depending on zoning and other agencies, but you'll get at least, we won't, well, I'll let my comments stand there. I'm done.
Okay, Ms. Carter?
Thank you. I can barely tell when my hand's up, so. Okay. I think, I know this area very well. Considering it used to be the famous farm back in the day. My concern is when we talk about capacity, are we talking about combined capacity inside and out, or just outside? I think that if that area is contained, so that not only are your customers know where that area is for the eating and drinking, that also your security also knows where that defined area is, then I would be fine with moving that at the appropriate time. There are no more questions.
I don't see anyone in the queue, so I think we are ready for a motion.
I move to grant with the submission of the map and the amount, the quantity of the number of capacity that the applicant has placed on the application, dependent on the approval of zoning.
And we have a second by Alder Miadzi. Any discussion? Any? Mr. Bruchak.
I just want to make sure, is the motion to approve it with the capacity that the applicant agreed to, or the just now, or the capacity that was on the application? Because on the application, the requested capacity is 0 indoor and 300 outdoor. The applicant agreed just now to 80 indoor, 300 outdoor.
With what the applicant just said, because it's going to be dependent on building inspection.
So let's just make it, let's clarify the motion just slightly so that we are keeping the capacity, their current indoor capacity at 80. And we are extending the outdoor capacity by no more than 300.
I agree with those changes. Thank you, Chair.
Any other discussion on this? Are there any other registrants on this item?
There are not.
Okay. Any objections to approval for this? Seeing none, item 29 is approved. Thank you very much.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yo siempre estoy abierta a las sugerencias de ellos y trabajar conforme a las reglas que ellos me den.
Yeah, I'm always open to any suggestions you may have and work within the rules that you pass.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, that brings us all the way back to the front of the agenda to item number 7, the entity reorganization for Red Rooster Madison LLC, doing business as Red Rooster. Do we have any registrants for this item, Jim?
I don't think we do. Let me run the report again. No, we do not.
Is this the first time this has been on the agenda?
It is not.
It is not. And have we had any communication with the applicant?
We did, because the initial application, it looked like it was a one person taking over. But last month, we got clarification that it was one of the 3 original members was remaining and the other 2 were being removed as officers. So they gave us an updated application. And I think they registered for the meeting last month, but I don't think they were in attendance, because we also last month had made the remaining member the liquor beer agent. And that was on the consent agenda, but the change of officer was not. And they did not attend last month's meeting either.
Okay, so committee, what's your pleasure? Ms. Carter?
Move to place on file without prejudice.
Alder Miazzi,
Second.
second. Mr. Bruchak.
I was going to say, I don't know I don't have any questions for the applicant. And if the clerk's office is happy with, it believes everything is in order for their purposes, I would actually support approving this, unless I'm missing something.
Jim, would this be something that normally would be going on the consent agenda, but it's gotten kind of weird?
No, because it's a greater than 50% change.
Okay.
Because we had 3 members and now we're jumping down to 1. So it would be 60% of the original membership is leaving from a license. So it would not normally be on the consent agenda regardless of the other times it appeared before the committee.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Can I ask Jim a question?
Yep.
Jim, do you think if we referred this, they would show up? I know they didn't show up tonight. I mean, this is a major chain,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
If I had a crystal ball, I'd be more confident in any sort of answer, but I don't have any sort of.
Okay, then I'll stick with my original motion.
Okay. Attorney McReynolds.
Thank you, Chair. So Red Rooster is not, I don't think it's a chain. It's not Red Robin.
That's what
It
I'm
is-
thinking of. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
that's
you,
what
Amber.
I thought. That's what I thought for first too. And I do think that this applicant was in contact with Attorney Zillavy. So it might just take like an email or something reminding them they should come. I think that since they were talking to Attorney Zillavy, I think they are invested in this.
In that case, I will change my motion to refer to our next meeting.
Okay. Is that second friendly? Is that friendly to you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a shameful thing that when people are invested in something, just to be able to give it up. So I understand. So I agree.
Okay. The motion was to place on file, but now we're referring it. Yes. Any objections to referral to the next meeting? Seeing none, item number 7 is referred to the next meeting. Okay, that brings us to.
And Chair,
Yeah, sorry.
I have a question regarding Alder Knox's request for item 43. I hate for that applicant to be here until 11 o'clock to hear that Alder Knox wants it to be referred to our next meeting.
So why does Alder Knox want item 43 referred?
Alder Knox wants item 43 referred because the applicant has not met with Alder Knox, nor has the applicant met with Captain Zanders. And there should be an email or something from Captain Zanders. I don't know if that was sent out or not. But Captain Angela has her hand up. What pearls of wisdom does she have for us?
Let's vote to take this out of order so that we can officially discuss this.
I don't think you need a vote to take it out of order.
Oh, we don't need, I can just do it as, okay. So we will go to item 43 so we can dispense with this hopefully quickly. So we bring forward item 43, public hearing, new license for Antlers Tavern, doing business as Antlers Tavern at 2202 West Broadway. We do have a registrant for this item. Are they in Zoom? And while you're looking, we'll go to our MPD captain.
Yes, Susan Simpson is registered and in Zoom.
Okay.
Hello, this is Susan Simpson, and I'm from the Antlers Tavern. Can you hear me?
We do hear you.
We can. So,
Okay, thank you.
So Susan, if you could introduce yourself, and then we'll go back to the captain. If you could just, this is a new license. We're looking at just doing a referral to next month's meeting so that you can have a meeting with Captain Zanders and with.
I did today. I talked with him on the phone, and he said that he would email you and that I could move forward tonight.
Okay.
This business has been in my husband's family since 1943. And my husband and I ran the business together for 42 years. And he passed away May 13th, 2023. His name was Homer Simpson. And I would really like to move forward with this. I've talked with everybody I was supposed to. And I have talked with Captain today, and he said he would move it forward. And I talked to the Alder Knox, on June 1st. And June 2nd, I had at 1 o'clock my neighborhood meeting. And I went forward with everything I needed to do, but I could not get the renter out of my building. And I had to evict her. And I could not go to this meeting. So it's been 4 months. And now I can finally move forward because I did everything I was supposed to in May and June. And then Captain said that he would send out an email and I could move forward. He was happy with everything that we had talked about. And I also talked to Alder Knox. I think he'd remember me because I was going to send him, I was going to give him a book my mom wrote. She writes books, and she wrote a autobiography. She went to college when she was 55 years old and got her PhD, and he's going back to school. So I told him I would send him that book.
Okay.
But I wanted to move forward with opening up the Antlers Tavern again in my husband's memory and carry on his legacy.
I have a quick question for you, Susan. So Homer Simpson Jr., am I correct?
Well,
Was
he
your
was the
husband,
second.
or was he the father? Well, yes.
The second. Yeah, he was my husband.
Okay. And it was my understanding, because I've had many conversations with your husband as a prior former alder, but I didn't think that you actually ran the business. I thought he ran the business. And this is just clarification for me.
Well, he was down there every day. I would do lunches with him, and I would do the book work. And I started working there in 1982 with him.
Okay, that's
and then
fine.
I worked there. Yeah, I did work there, up until we quit drinking 30 years ago. So we run a tavern because it's been in his family that long.
Right. I also I also had conversations with his father.
You knew his dad. Well, he passed away.
Yes.
In, 64.
I was there when actually the Simpson Street has an honorary sign for
yes,
the father.
And Miss Diane did that.
Yep. Okay.
Yes. And I know her very well, and I've been talking with her lately too, so she's wonderful.
Okay.
She's been very supportive.
Thank you. Well, Alder Knox really felt that you had not talked to him recently. So I would hope that you will contact him after this.
Oh,
if you don't mind.
And I asked Jim if I needed to because I did all this in May and June. And he said I didn't really need to because I already did all this, the neighborhood meeting.
Was it a neighborhood meeting or was it just an informational where you put up an orange sign?
No, it was a neighborhood meeting, and it was June 2nd at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And I had I had cupcakes and I had, sausage and cheese and everything, and nobody showed up.
I wish I had known.
I had everything there. It was my birthday that day. I was like,
I love a good cupcake.
It was okay.
Well,
they were good.
I'm going to let our great captain, Angela, speak because she has lots of wisdom.
Okay, did you get the email from Captain Zander?
We have that now, yes. Jim found that and sent that to all of us. So we have that in our box and his requests in there. So, Captain.
That was just what I was going to alert you to, is that Captain Zanders got a hold of me later this afternoon saying that he was in fact able to connect with her, and that they talked about some things and some modifications, which you'll see in the email that he sent about hours and things like that, and that he would then support it.
Okay, so are there any other questions for the applicant? It seems like something that we could have a motion on to have discussion about and go either way. So if someone, Ms. Carter, are you prepared for a motion?
Yes, I move to grant with I have to open up my emails with the, I don't know if they're conditions or suggestions of Captain Zanders.
It looks like they are operating hours from Monday through Sunday.
Okay, I just opened it up so I can go ahead and say, grant with conditions, operating hours, Monday through Sunday. And Sunday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Am I right on that?
10 a.m. to 1 a.m.
10 a.m. to 1 a.m. We talked about Monday through Sunday.
Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Sorry about that. I'm looking at it on my phone.
And we have are you done, Ms. Carter?
I am, well, go on, because I was going to talk about the security cameras, but.
I just put in $5,000 worth of security cameras.
Yeah, I think it says that India will have 7 accessible operating cameras, and you just said you put in.
That's what I have now.
Okay.
It's not even open yet. Yeah. I just redid all the floors, and the last, we leased it out for a while, and that was not a good thing. They just totally ran it down. So I redid all the flooring, and I've redone all the cameras and the security on the doors, and, all new equipment and everything, because they took everything.
Okay, so right now we have, Jim, can you read back the motion for us?
I had recorded as the condition is just one condition, alcohol sales shall cease at 1 a.m. daily. I don't know if we want the condition to talk about the opening, but I think typically we've just put the end time as the conditions.
I'm fine with the end time.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay.
Yes.
And we had a second by Mr. Bruchak, I believe, if he's still wanting to second that. Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. I do have a question for the applicant.
Yes.
You're still there, Susan?
Yes, I am.
Great, thank you. So I noticed, I know the application that we have before us was completed by you and signed by you some time ago.
It was in April.
Several months ago. And actually, the date stamp of the Madison City Clerk's office is March 1st of this year. So as I say, it's been quite a while. And so and it was signed by you, by the way, on February 18th. So my question of you is, we obviously have just settled on modifying the hours in your application, but if you can think back to your application from February, is there any other information in here that you believe is inaccurate or should be modified? Obviously, the opening date has come and gone, but for example, the capacity would be 99 persons, is that correct?
That is what the building holds, yes.
Uh-huh. And you have no plans for live entertainment?
The only thing I did think about was possibly having inspirational music on Saturdays from like 2 to 5. Just, guitar and singing, that's it. Nothing more than that. Like more of a coffee shop type thing. I wanted to have coffee there too, kind of incorporate a coffee shop and the bar. The bar has been going on since 1943 in my husband's family. And that's why I wanted to carry on with that, but I wanted to incorporate some things. Because like I said, my husband and I haven't drank for 30 years.
Yes, I appreciate the history and the sentiment very much. And I'm sorry Kathy Perez was such a poor caretaker of the institution. And you just said you had to evict her. Yeah.
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 It was terrible. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Including the homicide, as I recall.
Well, and I didn't even know about that until today when I talked with Captain. She never talked with us, Kathy never did, and that was probably the reason why. I had no idea about all the things that were going on.
Yeah, and she used to work for your family, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and then my husband passed away in May, and I guess that happened in August, and I was devastated, at that time, so... she never told me about what happened.
I completely understand. So back to the live entertainment question. Under our ordinance, you would have to apply for an entertainment license if you have more than one acoustic instrumentalist. So if it's just one guitar,
that's all.
You probably are okay, but. I don't think amplification. I think amplification though would require an entertainment license.
One guitar with an amp is okay, you said.
I believe the way we can ask the assistant city attorney, Amber McReynolds, that's with us, but my recollection of the ordinance is that only one piece acoustic is okay, not amplified. And she's nodding her head in the affirmative.
Acoustic,
yes, so you could have an acoustic guitarist, but if you want them to use amplification, you'd have to visit with the city clerk's office again and fill out an entertainment application.
Actually, just a guitar would be fine. I just want, just nice inspirational music. So that would be just a guitar would be fine.
The other question I had on your application from February is just simply that, do you anticipate that the percentage alcohol versus food would be 90% alcohol, 10% food still?
Yes, because I'm not getting a food license yet because the back kitchen was a mess and I had to rip out the whole floor. And I'm kind of doing things in stages. If I would get more food, it would be down the road. Right now I'm doing pizzas and everything in packages. So I got the food license, but it's just the minimum, And then, so I'm starting with that, beef jerkies and chips and, nuts and that kind of stuff and cupcakes, with the coffee in the morning and that kind of stuff.
I understand. Thank you very much and good luck, Susan.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alder?
Motion to approve.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't need to adjust the motion again.
So we already have a motion to approve. I think, did we get a second for that? So I think Collins had seconded, so we have an approval. I don't think, unless you guys discuss and want to change it. Any other discussion? Seeing none, any objections to approval? Seeing none, item 43 is approved. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you. And my husband's race number was 43. Homer's race number was 43. So I thought that was really cool that it was number 43. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Okay, so that brings us back to item 30. Change of license premise for Prost at 401 East Washington Avenue. Do we have any registrants for this item?
Yep, David James now is registered and I believe in Zoom. Look. Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, David, welcome. If you could just tell us a little bit about what you guys are planning on doing on the 28th.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Looks like it's a lot of familiar faces here. So most of you might remember the event we did earlier in the year. In June, it's going to be very similar, where we have just some beer taps that we can have on our premise. We pour those outside, and we have some tables set up on the street. We have the street closure permit. We'll have a DJ performing some polka music, and we also have an accordion player coming to play. It's going to run from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Yeah, it should just be a fun event, just, family-friendly stuff. The last event was really great. Not sure if anyone was able to attend, but if you did, you would have seen it was a very low-key, casual event. A lot of people just hanging out, enjoying the weather, and having a drink. So.
Okay. Committee, are there any questions for the applicant? Attorney McReynolds.
Thank you, Chair. I was wondering, are you only serving beer outside, or would you also be serving liquor?
So we're not going to be pouring any liquor outside. If people wanted to purchase it inside the bar and take it outside, they would have to do so in a plastic. We'd give them a plastic cup to take outside. And we'll also be serving food outside too. The food will be prepared inside and being able to be brought outside.
Thank you. And then you said the event would be from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Is that right?
That is correct.
Would you agree if the ALRC wanted to put that as a condition on this temporary change of premises? Would you agree to that condition?
Yeah. So just to say, that's definitely the time period, and we'll agree to that right now. Was that what as a condition?
Yes.
Yes, that's totally fine. Again, it's not a big party thing. It's going to be a family event. Well, people are going to want to close down early. We want everything to be cleaned up and off the street by 8 p.m.
All right. Thank you.
Committee, what's your pleasure? Mr. Bruchak.
Move approval.
So Mr. Bruchak has moved approval of this item. Second by Alder Verveer. Any discussion?
To clarify, is that approval with no additional conditions? Okay.
Yep. Seeing no discussions, any objections to approval? Seeing none, this item is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. And just a note that this item is going to council
Next week, Tuesday.
next week, Tuesday.
Yes.
It's the only item that is going to council next week, Tuesday.
Correct.
Yep. Up next, we've got some 21-plus entertainment licenses. We've got number 31, entertainment license for Wando Ventures doing business as Jay's at 406 North Francis Street. Is Jay Wernerski here or registered?
Yeah, Jay Wanzerski is registered and in Zoom.
Do you guys hear me?
We can. Hi, Jay. If you could introduce yourselves and let us know what you're going to be doing over next door at Jay's.
My name is Jay Wanzerski. I own Jay's at 406 North Francis, and I would like to have a license to have a DJ or live entertainment such as bands or whatever. But it's a pretty small place, obviously the old Red Shed, so I just want the option to have DJ or acoustic or a band for graduation parties, different birthday parties and stuff like that. So there you go.
Committee, do we have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Bruchak.
Have you had a chance to meet with the alder or the neighborhood?
I talked to Eli on the phone. I sent messages to Juliana, and she said she would get back to me, but she hasn't. But we've talked multiple times about this license. We met for 3 hours before I got the license, and she knew my grand plan. So I was just kind of taken back that she did not call me back. And I haven't made a big effort to call her back recently because I was knee deep in getting that place open last weekend. So it's been a long 3-month process, but I'm happy with it.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? See none.
So thanks for that answer. And I think opening weekend went good. I've heard. Is that right?
I don't think we'll see another weekend like we did this past. Once in a lifetime with Alabama in town.
Yeah, a lot of Alabama fans walking around downtown on Saturday.
Yes.
They were happy. And then have you spoke to the Central District Captain? We could ask her. She's on the call with us right now.
Yes, I spoke with her on the phone.
And there's, I know this area has been sensitive historically, but is there any concerns with this application? Captain Kamoski?
No, I talk with Jay on the phone quite a bit, and I have no concerns.
Then I move approval.
Second by Alder Revere. Any other discussion? Hey, it only happened to us once.
I only used it once.
Seeing no discussions, any objections to approval? Seeing none, item 31 is approved. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next up, 18-plus Center for Visual and Performing Art license, item number 32 for Chinchilla JDK LLC, doing business as the Red Rock Saloon. Do we have any registrants for this item, Jim?
We do. JJ Kovakovic is here in Zoom. And there's a couple other people also registered. Drew Deuster as well. And he's also in Zoom. But JJ has hands up and is unmuted.
Okay. JJ?
Hello, everyone.
if you could introduce yourself and let us know what you're planning to do over at Red Rock with this license.
Yeah, my name's JJ or Jeffrey Kovakovich. I'm the agent, and Drew Doyster, who's also on this. I'm going to let him speak because he's been dealing with a lot of this work behind the scenes. So I'm going to let him go ahead.
Good evening, committee. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, so we were here a few weeks back, I believe in July, regarding a change of premise from restaurant nightclub to just nightclub. And as part of the change, we are also applying for the entertainment license piece. Red Rock has been in downtown Madison for 10 years. We moved locations in 2021 to the Gorham Street address after our former location was redeveloped as apartments. So effectively, we're looking just to add this entertainment piece to our new restaurant designation, or our new nightclub designation, rather, and effectively business as usual. We do live music on Friday nights, and we do some special one-off events with some of the local country stations, and then just DJs and so forth on the weekends.
What type of events are you going to have for under 21?
The only events that we have are we do sometimes sorority and fraternity parties, and those are closed private events that we handle with just the groups booking the parties, so that we can monitor the establishment better. Once the events are over, we close, and if it's possible, we reopen as 21 and up. And then we do some events that are we do live music events occasionally. When we have larger national country acts in town, we work quite closely with the radio stations. And sometimes they do ticketed events through the radio stations that we allow any ages to come in and partake in the show. And again, with those, we actually close after the event and ask everyone to leave, and then reopen as a 21 and up establishment.
Okay, great. Committee, do we have any questions for the applicant, Mr. Bruchak?
Thank you. So just to clarify, everyone has to leave after the 18 plus events, and then so the place is empty of any patrons, and then you reopen as 21 plus, and then you go through the normal process of checking people's IDs and ensure only those age 21 and over are admitted.
Yes, that's 100% correct. When we do our events, we at the end of the event, end of the schedule for the event, we ask everyone to leave other than staff. We reset the room, and then we reopen as a 21 and up, and everyone gets carded.
Thank you for that answer. No further questions for me.
Alder Revere.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome back, Drew and JJ. I think my only question for you is, I'm not quite understanding why you need to apply for a new 18 plus entertainment license when you already have one. I realize you were recently at the Plan Commission for your conditional use permit and the conversion from a restaurant nightclub to a nightclub, and you're doing the remodeling at the front door space, et cetera. But why exactly do you need to reapply for this license?
Yeah, so my understanding was that we had been approved from the committee, but there was one zoning piece that didn't get completed, so it never got signed off completely on. But we, with the redesignation to straight nightclub, we would have to be reapplying as a new entertainment license. At least that's kind of the way that I had understood it. And again, we're not actually making any changes. The end goal here is to have with the land use application is to raise our capacity a little bit. And in order to do that, we had to have all of these steps completed. So even though we had been approved for the entertainment license once before, I think it was never completely finalized.
Finalized by who, though?
I think
so.
it
This
the
was the
zone-
advice, Drew, of the zoning administrator that you need to reapply with us? It wasn't the
Yeah.
city clerk's office that told you this, correct?
It was actually the clerk's office. They said that we had effectively completed all the steps, but there was one box left unchecked with it was a something with zoning, I believe.
Deputy City Clerk Verbeck, do you want to weigh in and help me understand?
Yeah. I don't think you needed to reapply, but I do see that because you had submitted a renewal paperwork for your entertainment license to be renewed into this year. So you didn't necessarily need to make this new application, but we still need the zoning sign off from the previous one.
So I'm happy to take whatever steps are necessary. If anyone could give me just further clarification on that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the clerk's office is considered, I don't think you need to go forward with this application if you're okay continuing on the previous one, which is still sort of sitting out there waiting for zoning sign off. I will remind the committee that there are 3 conditions the committee put on that one. It's number 1, the establishment must meet the definition of an entertainment venue as defined by MGO section 38.05, para 9. 2, establishment must provide full food service at all times when live music performances are not offered. And 3, no patrons are permitted to enter or re-enter the establishment after 1:30 a.m. on Fridays and Saturday nights.
Yes, we accept all those conditions.
So you don't specifically remember, Drew, why you were, or who told you needed to reapply and
The only thing that
join
I
us?
thought that as part of the when we changed our restaurant, our designation from restaurant nightclub to nightclub, I believe I was told that it would require a new entertainment license. If I'm mistaken, I apologize for wasting everyone's time.
Oh, it's nice to hear your voice.
Well, nice to hear yours too.
Thanks. We go back to the beginning, obviously.
I feel, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, JJ.
Oh, okay. Drew, I feel like there was something with zoning that, because part of this is with the capacity change, correct?
That's a land use application change that we're in the process of making.
But didn't they because we're also changing the entranceway, and I thought that was tied to this for some reason, and that's why they wanted us to reapply with the new entertainment license. I guess my only thing with this is I feel like there was something here with zoning that they were very adamant that we needed to go through this process and then get this reapplied for, right? Or am I not understanding that?
I feel like we had another applicant like 2 months ago who came to us to change their designation to tavern nightclub or something like that, but that's not something the committee and really handles. That's something that the zoning deals with, those designations, but that's not something we've typically done or control with this committee.
That's right. And the Plan Commission.
Yep.
Right.
And you're saying that if there's just some pieces with zoning that we have to clear up if we continue to operate under the old entertainment license?
to my knowledge, is zoning can sign off if they're satisfied from their end. I don't know, again, if that is a requirement that you had submitted the second application. But I mean, I can't speak for zoning to determine whether or not that you're required to have the second application. But as far as the clerk's office, and I believe the ALRC is considered, that you can use the previous application as long as zoning is okay with it.
But apparently
not.
zoning gave you contrary advice. So it's just, a little more money to the city of Madison, I guess, from you gentlemen. And your trouble sitting through the meeting tonight.
That's all right. That's all right.
But we obviously it's not a capacity issue for us because you were with us back at our June meeting where we raised your capacity to 450 persons, correct?
Correct.
This isn't a capacity issue tonight.
Correct.
Okay, well, I was just curious. I didn't mean to bog us down in the minutia of is this really necessary or not?
In the interest of just keeping things moving and possibly not having to come back, would it just be possible to grant this second application? Or would it be maybe in my best interest to just follow up with zoning and go from there?
My thought was to, of course, just proceed because that's what the zoning administrator or her staff are suggesting that you must do. Yeah, so I would suggest we proceed tonight.
Okay.
And Chair, I do have a question for Assistant City Attorney McReynolds at the appropriate time too.
Okay.
But I have no further questions for the
So,
applicants.
Let's ask that, because I assume that our motion will be the same motion that it was last time.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you, Attorney McReynolds. I was just curious, do you believe that with their change in status, if you could look at the current condition number 1 and the definition of an entertainment venue in MGO section 38.05 sub 9, when you heard Deputy Clerk Verbeek reciting the current conditions on their current 18-plus license, condition number 1 is the establishment must meet the definition of an entertainment venue as defined by MGO section 38.05 sub 9. And that's also, I note, the same condition on their current alcohol license. I just want to confirm if you believe that that is a correct citation as they're working their way to the Plan Commission to change their land use designation into a full-fledged.
One moment.
Yeah, thank you for doing the legal research for us.
While we're waiting on this.
So I think I need a little bit more time because I'm not seeing it in that subsection immediately. So let me just take a closer look. Is that why you asked the question, Alder Verveer? Do you happen to know if something has changed?
No, I was just, again, curious as the applicants are going through this process, as we've talked about with the Plan Commission to change their official land use designation, if that is still an appropriate condition, or does particularly that reference to 38.05 sub 9.
Yeah.
But you're saying that you don't.
A few more minutes.
Would you like us to place this temporarily on the table then?
Yes, please.
I'll move that chair.
Second. We have a second. So this is there will be bringing up item number 33, and he will be taking over chair for a few minutes.
Next up is item number 33, public hearing new license for Regent Street Mini Mart. Jim, is there any registrants?
The applicant is not registered for this item. The only registrant is Doug Carlson with the Violas Neighborhood Association. And I believe Alder Evers is also here.
Okay, can we start with Doug Carlson? Can you introduce yourself and tell us your thoughts on this application?
Great. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. So we had an opportunity to provide comments last month, if you would recall, and the applicant did not show, so it got referred. The Violas Neighborhood, I'm the president of the Violas Neighborhood Association. The Violas Neighborhood is opposed to this application for a Class B combination license. In fact, we've discussed and we took a vote that we are opposed to any Class B license at this establishment at this time. This establishment's never had liquor. It's a convenience store. It's never had liquor. It's always been beer and wine only, and expanding to Class B has concerns, and expanding to liquor has never been anything that the neighborhood has supported. So we had those comments last time, so I won't rehash all of that. I will just add 2 additional items that are new since last meeting, and these were both in Alder Evers' comments that he had provided today, but he commented on a number of things, so I don't know if you've read these. After last month's meeting, I contacted the owner and invited her to come to the next Violas Neighborhood Association meeting to discuss this, and her response to my invitation was simply one word: no. And also in my email, and this Alder Evers has shared, I also stated, please let us know if you are going to withdraw this application or no show for the next ALRC meeting, so we don't need to waste another valuable evening. And unfortunately, that's where we are now. The applicant is no-showed. So at this point, we request that you simply put this on file with much prejudice.
Thank you.
I'll take questions.
Are there any questions from the committee? Alder Miadzi.
I just wanted to hear from the Alder Evers, if that's okay.
That sounds good. There's no other registrants. Alder Evers, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Chair. As Doug Carlson, the Violas Neighborhood Association president indicated, I sent an email to the committee around 3 p.m. today. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to read it, so I'm going to make my comments where I'm essentially reciting from that email regarding this particular item, number 33, regarding the Regent Street Mini Mart. I asked you to consider the comments that I submitted at last month's meeting, and indulge me, please. I'd like to read those just so to underscore really what happened here. What I shared with you last month was the following. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances, one that I find highly unusual. The applicant approached the neighborhood months ago to add outdoor seating to their current license, requesting support to change from a Class A to Class B. The applicant made no mention they wished to add hard liquor to their sales, but in an updated application, checked the box to sell liquor both on premises and carryout. The neighborhood was clear at the time the license was originally granted, you recall that was 2 years ago, that they opposed hard liquor sales. Hard liquor has never been approved for sale at this location, not at Open Pantry or any other business that has operated here. Neither is hard liquor available for sale at Quick Trip located nearby on Monroe Street near Randall Avenue. This is due to the proximity to campus, and this prohibition is strongly believed by the neighborhood, and I assume by this committee, to be sound policy. What's most disturbing is the applicant sought to make this change without informing the neighborhood, nor was I informed as the owner. This, in my mind, constitutes a breach of trust. The applicant claims she should be able to sell hard liquor because Festival Foods is allowed to do so. Similarly, she invokes Leopold's. But those are entirely different businesses, and what they are allowed to do has no bearing on what makes sense for this business in this location. In fact, the business closest to them and the one most similar is the aforementioned Quick Trip, which is also a convenience store. Due to this breach of trust, the neighborhood has revoked their support of outdoor sales, nor am I willing to support this effort. Please allow the applicant 1 year to operate within the parameters currently in place in hopes that trust could be reestablished. Please vote to deny the application for a Class B permit allowing for on-site premises consumption, thereby maintaining the current Class A license to sell beer and wine with the previously approved conditions. And then in the comments that I added today, I underscored how that upon my suggestion to Doug Carlson, the Vilas Neighborhood Association president, I suggested after last meeting in which this item was referred to tonight's meeting, that Doug invite the applicant to meet with the Vilas Neighborhood Association Council in hopes that this matter could be amicably resolved. The applicant responded with a single word, no. And I cited and copied that email conversation since I was copied on it. So you have that in front of you. And in conclusion, the neighborhood feels somewhat betrayed by what the applicant has done, seeking permission to sell hard liquor, both for on-site consumption and carryout, and doing so without conferring with the neighborhood or the district alder. Moreover, it should be evident the neighborhood has been clear in their opposition from the very start to hard liquor sales at this location. For these reasons, please deny the application of the Class B combination liquor and beer license. Trust needs to be reestablished. It is my hope the applicant, and this is my sincere hope, that the applicant will re-engage with the neighborhood. At some point in the future, the issue of on-site consumption can be reviewed, although the applicant would be well advised to give up on the idea of selling hard liquor at this location. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Alder Evers? Jim, do we know who the phone number is at the bottom?
We don't, not that I'm aware of.
And there's no other registrants?
Only Doug is registered for this item.
Okay. Did the applicant, we talked with the applicant last month?
No, the applicant had sent an email saying they weren't going to attend. I have not received any communication regarding this meeting and their attendance.
Okay. Are there any, the committee, what is your preference? Okay, thank you. Ms. Carter?
Thank you. I move to not to grant this application. However, I think this is at an impasse. I think there's an impasse between the neighborhood, the alder, and the applicant. I think because of this impasse, telling the applicant that they can come back in a year after they comply to the current license when it was stated unequivocally that there will continue to be opposition of having liquor at this location is disingenuous. So my motion is to deny or this application to have hard liquor, however you want to put it, at this location, and leave it at that. For the obvious reasons that was sent within the emails for both the alder and the association.
Okay, so the motion is to deny the request. Is there a second? Alder Miadzi?
If Mike wants to do it, he can do it, but I did have my button pressed. So we'll give it to Mike.
Okay.
And Mike can clean up what I just said if he feels the need.
So before we have a second, I was just going to ask Attorney McReynolds, what is the best way to proceed in this situation?
Attorney McReynolds, did you hear the question?
I did. I'm not sure what you mean the best way to proceed. I mean, there's been a motion. I also see Alder Evers as signaling. So I think I need more clarification on the question.
Well, let me just add one more thing to my motion, and that is a line that we normally use, and that is, Zillavi knows this line so much better than me, I'll mess it up, but it's the harm of the neighborhood, and Mike Bevere has the exact wording for that.
Contrary to the health, safety, and welfare of the community.
That is exactly what I was saying.
Okay.
May I speak just briefly? May I be recognized?
Alder Evers.
Thank you. The suggestion, and it was only a suggestion, was not that the applicant come back and apply for a combination beer and liquor license, but rather that if the applicant wished to arrange for outdoor sales of, say, beer and wine, but not liquor, which could be a Class B license. The neighborhood was not unwilling to consider that. But when the applicant went back and changed their application by checking the liquor box, that's where the problem came. So I understand you don't need to put anything into your denial, any reference to a year, anything like that. But the suggestion, I think more broadly speaking, is when that kind of impasse that Sherry has referenced has taken place, as the alder, I would like to be a neutral arbiter to try to get the parties back together. And in order to do that, it would be first necessary for you to do as has been moved, and that is to deny this particular request. I hope that clarifies somewhat for you.
Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. I had sought recognition to second Ms. Carter's motion and to add the legal language that's already been articulated.
Thank you. Let's hear from, we can clarify the motion in just a second. Let's hear from Attorney McReynolds.
Yeah, so thank you. Now I think I understand the question, but with that language and, I would recommend that alders, or not alders, ALRC members make a record of why they are denying. Is that what the question was when someone asked me how should we proceed?
Poorly worded question.
Answered.
It was a poorly worded question. I apologize. But yes, I wanted to make sure that we got the legal part on there, knowing that a denial we need to do in a very specific way.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, but the motion may need additional language. Is there a member of the committee who wants to give us that language? Does that work, Jim?
Is denial for the application being contrary to the health, safety, and welfare of the community a sufficient enough reasoning for denial? I guess it's a question for the Assistant City Attorney.
I think so, but I think it would be helpful if the members of the committee could articulate why they are denying the application, pointing to those reasons.
Thank you. So the motion before us is to deny the request because it's contrary to the health, safety, and welfare of the committee of the community, and the motion's been seconded. Is there any debate on the motion? Alder Miadzi?
Also, too, we can add to the fact of transparency, right? When we asked for a certain process to be done as far as community engagement with the alder and with the residents, I think when we fill out the application, we need to have that transparency, which wasn't followed through. So that could be another reason why denying this. And I see Ms. Sherry wants to give some wisdom. So,
thank you. Alder Revere rang in first, so let's go to him.
Thank you, Chair. So to add to the record, I think the primary reason why the application should be denied is contrary to the health, safety, and welfare of the community is because of the oversaturation of already issued Class B combination liquor and beer licenses in this immediate vicinity. And I think that that's simply enough on that point for the record. It was mentioned in the elected representative of the district's testimony, I think quite clearly, that's in the record here. And anecdotally, we all know that there's numerous Class B combination liquor and beer licenses in this Regent Street corridor. I will say, too, just lastly, as a reminder for anyone watching us tonight, that this establishment still does have a valid Class A beer and liquor license limited to beer and wine and cider only, not spirits. So if there's any confusion out there, it shouldn't be. They do have a valid liquor license, but not for on-premise consumption, either indoors or outdoors, as they originally had sought permission to do so on their property. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carter.
No, I have nothing to add. That sums up what I was going to talk about. Thank you.
Chair Westra.
I was just going to concur with Alder Revere.
Thank you. Are there any more comments? The question is, the motion is to deny the request because it's contrary to health, safety, and welfare of the community. If there is no one else seeking recognition, so does any member object to denial because it's contrary to health, safety, and welfare of the community? Ms. Carter?
I think you also have to add in those last sentences that Alder Revere just stated.
I believe that he was just offering a point of debate. I don't think that that's part of the motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Community is where we end the motion.
I did include in the minutes, it says denial for the application being contrary to the health, safety, and welfare of the community, specifically to the oversaturation of Class B combination liquor and beer licenses in this community.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, my personal thought is that our past practice is that we just leave it at contrary to health, safety, and welfare of the community, period. And then the rest is in this video recording and will be the record used if this needs to be litigated, and Attorney McReynolds can concur or not. I see she turned on her camera for us.
And I'm fine with that.
We need to send a letter to the applicant informing them of the reason for their denial.
Yes, and doesn't the Office of the City Attorney usually assist with that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Could we ask Attorney McReynolds if she agrees or disagrees that the motion can end at community, or do we need other language for our motion, Amber?
Sure.
This is the first one that I've had since I've started this gig. So I think that if that's been the past practice, that will work just fine for me and my purposes. I do think there's been a record made here, and enough to write a letter. So I do think that would be sufficient. Thank you.
So it sounds like people concur that the language of the motion can end after the word community. So the motion's unchanged since I first stated it. And so is there any objection to this motion? I see none. So that motion passes. The request is denied.
Just walk around.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you. When Donnelly did this to me, I was here for an hour and a half. Okay, so we've disposed of item 33. Up next, item 34, public hearing, new license, True Legacy Hospitality LLC, doing business as Rocky Rococo at 4556 Monona Drive. Do we have any registrants for this item? Yep.
Well, yeah, she is. Right?
Oh, yeah. Attorney McReynolds? Are you?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to let you know that I'm ready whenever the committee is ready to go back to the last one.
Okay.
So if there is someone here registered, then after this item.
Yeah, we'll come back to that after.
Yep. There is one registrant for item 34, Jose Alfredo Zavala, who is also the agent. And he is in Zoom.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, Jose, welcome. If you could introduce yourself and let us know what you're planning on doing with Rockies.
Hi, so my name is Jose Zavala. I am the owner of Rocky Rococo, which I purchased in August of 27th of 2024. I have been working for Rocky Rococo for 12 years. And we just bought it from the past owner, Roger Brown. He opened Rocky Rococo here in Monona in 1976. And they have been serving Class B beer. I think it's the beer liquor license that it is, Class B. So it's just bottled beer in the counter. And I was just looking to be able to sell the same items that he had in the menu before I took over.
Okay, thank you. Committee, any questions for the applicant? Jose, will there be any changes to the business?
No, I am currently under a franchise, so there's a corporate above me. So I'm just following their same menu that they've been following for decades. I did provide when I applied. I provided a copy of the menu with pricing. I also provided a map where the beer will be stored in the back walk-in cooler and where it will be served in the front counter. And then we also have the rule where they can't take beer outside of the restaurant. It has to be finished in the restaurant, and it cannot be combined with like any combo meals or anything. It's just the beer by itself.
And did you meet with the alder, the police district captain, and did you have a neighborhood meeting?
Yes, I had the neighborhood meeting, if I recall, August 21st for 2 hours. Nobody showed up though. And then as far as captain, we spoke, I believe, I can't remember the exact date, but sometime in July we did speak and he approved it for the simple reason that Rocky Rococo, he said, is well known and they've been operating just fine.
And did you get a chance to meet with the alder? Or talk to them at all?
I believe I did, yes. I just cannot recall the date. But yeah, all the people they told me to contact, the city clerk's office gave me a list. I contacted them all, I think, within 7 days of applying.
Okay, thank you. Alder Miazzi.
Motion to grant.
Second by Alder Revere. Any discussion? Seeing none, any objections to approval? Seeing none, item 34 is approved. Thank you, Jose. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you as well.
Okay, and it's time to bring back item, I just put it here, 32. The 18-plus Center for Visual and Performing Arts license for Red Rock Saloon. And I need a motion to take it off the table.
Motion to take it off the table.
Second by Reject. Yep. Any objections? Seeing none, we are back with item 32. So where did we leave this, Alder Revere? You had a question for the city attorney.
Would you like me to restate
Yes,
the question?
if you could restate the-
Attorney McReynolds recalls it. I was
Yes,
asking
if you
her
could restate the question just for everyone at home.
Sure, happy to. I was asking our legal counsel if it was still appropriate that the current condition on both the alcohol license and 18-plus entertainment license for this establishment still require that they meet the definition of an entertainment venue as allegedly or previously defined by MGO Section 38.05 Sub 9, the current wording on their licenses. And Attorney McReynolds generously has researched that for us, and look forward to her advice.
Okay, thank you. So the short answer is I think that condition could be removed or should be removed. There is no technical definition of entertainment venue definitely not in 38.05 sub 9, and in fact, not even in the entire chapter 38. So there is something in 38.0611. That's just the section about 21 plus entertainment venues. Oh, but this is for an 18. In any case, even if there was a reference to that section, it doesn't make sense to me to have, it's a circular logic to have it in the conditions that in order to have the entertainment license, they need to meet the definition of having an entertainment license, which is essentially what this would come down to. So I would recommend removing condition 1 in the entertainment license. I think you could decide, well, we're only talking about the entertainment license right now. So,
right. That's all we have on the agenda.
Yeah. So that's where I would stop then.
I'll just add that 11 years ago, when Red Rock was initially licensed in our community, that condition was added back in 2013 at their original location on West Johnson Street, I believe, because of the, at the time, so-called alcohol license density ordinance, that new taverns were not permitted in this geographic area, but because they were providing an entertainment venue, a resource in that regard, then they were able to lawfully be licensed. And so that's, I think, the history of that condition that perhaps your predecessor, as our legal counsel, suggested that at the time 11 years ago.
Yeah, and that made sense then, especially the numbering of things. And it might make sense to keep a condition on an alcohol license about regarding entertainment, but since that's not what we're talking about, I don't think it makes sense to have it on the entertainment license.
I appreciate that and understand your logic very much. I'll just say that, you know, we had tried being consistent, and if we tried in the past to have all conditions, as you know, on the same on an alcohol and related entertainment license, but this is overly redundant, and as you say, the citation's incorrect at this point, 11 years later. So thank you very much for your legal research. I appreciate it and your advice.
You're welcome.
Sure, I'm prepared to move to grant with the 2 conditions that now would continue that the applicant has previously agreed to on the record. And I can repeat those for the record.
If you could, that would be great. And I see we already have a second.
Okay. Number 1, establishment, why don't we just say, shall provide full food service at all times when live musical performances are not offered. And 2, no patrons are permitted to enter or re-enter the establishment after 1:30 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights.
So, and we have a second from Alderman Miadze. So any other further discussion on this item? Seeing none, any objections to approval of this item? Seeing none, item 32 is approved. That brings us back to 36 was already, nope, 37. That's what I have. Right. Yep. Item 37, new hearing for public hearing for new license, CJR Investments Corporation doing business as Madison Pantry at 2022 Fordham Avenue. Do we have any registrants for this item?
We do. It is Mohammed Mahinduan. And I think... Don't see that name in Zoom. Don't see that person here. There's a phone number in Zoom, a 608 number. So I can ask to unmute that person and see. That could be Mr. Boxrood. If you're calling in, if you've called in, I asked to unmute you. I forget what the number is. If it starts. Hello? I see you're unmuted. Hello? They may have been technical issues. I do not know if this person is the registrant. I don't
Okay.
know if they're in
I think
attendance. Might be. Ends in 6410? 6410?
Yeah. 6410
Is the last four.
So while we're waiting on this, Alder, did you have a question? No, no problem. Yep.
Okay.
So committee, what's your pleasure?
Move to the next agenda and probably come back to it, if that's okay. We haven't technically.
Jim, this is the first time this has been before us, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. And you haven't had any conversations with the applicant?
I have not, no. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Or, no, that was motion to move it, to place it on the table, but we,
On the table. Probably just motion to refer. and
yeah,
then
let's,
Okay.
reconsider it.
For it.
okay. Yep. So the motion on the floor is a motion to refer to the next scheduled meeting of the ALRC
By Miazzi, second.
by Miazzi, seconded by Alder Revere. If they come, show up, we can reconsider. Okay, next up, number 39, public hearing, new license for Marie's Soul Food at 1637 Monroe Street. Do we have any registrants for this item?
We do. Marissa Holmes is registered, and in Zoom, I will say that also Doug Carlson, who we heard from earlier, is registered neither in support or opposition, but available to answer questions. So, but first we can go to.
Okay.
Holmes to my balance.
Hello.
Marissa, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Marissa, if you could just introduce yourself and let us know what you're planning to do with this license at Marie's.
Hi, my name is Marissa Holmes. I'm the owner of Marie's Soul Food. I'm pretty much here again. I was at the last meeting. Last month, I applied for beer and wine, and I learned that there were at the time 18 liquor licenses available. So I decided to reapply so that I can get the full liquor license as well. And our plan is basically the same, 40 people in, no seating outside, and we have no plan whatsoever to allow anyone to take anything outside. It would all need to be consumed inside. We will be doing some moving around to make room for tables inside. I understand that everyone knows that we are a takeout restaurant, and it appears that the space is smaller. We're planning on doing renovations to allow tables to be inside so that people can dine in.
Okay. Committee, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Was there any community meeting with the alder?
Marissa, did you hear that question?
No, I did not.
No, I was just stating if there was a meeting with the neighborhood, a neighborhood meeting with the alder.
Yes, I spoke with the neighborhood. I did send an email to the alder. I didn't receive a response back, but I do notice that he sent comments to you all. And I also spoke with the officer in the area as well, and he made it, clear that he had no issues with me applying for the liquor license.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, and in Legistar, there's an attachment with tags support on here. Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome back to the committee.
Thank you.
We were expecting you to join us again, as we discussed last time, as you say. So it sounds like you already had a chance to review the alder of the district's memo to us.
Correct.
Alder Evers, and you see that he's requesting a condition be added to the full liquor license that the license be limited to the sale of on-premise consumption. Is that a condition that you're agreeable to?
Yeah, I mentioned that was our plan from the start. Even with the beer and wine, we don't plan on allowing anyone to leave the premise with that.
Very good. In case you weren't aware, the state law does allow for Class B license holders to allow for the sale of, in the original package or container, alcohol to be consumed off the licensed premise. So that's why the alder is requesting that condition. Not that he, of course, doesn't trust you or anything. It's he's requested it for another application tonight as well. So you have no objection whatsoever to that?
Not at all. We're here for a long time and we don't want any liabilities. So
Yeah,
we're totally okay with that.
You don't want to become a liquor store unlike perhaps your neighbors around the corner on Regent Street, it sounds like.
No.
Sounds good.
They got it under control.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
You. Alder.
A motion to approve, please.
I don't see him. I think, so are you moving approval with the condition?
Yes, I'm sorry, with Alder's conditions.
Oh, here comes Alder. Okay, so we've got, we'll come to the Alder in a second. So we've got a motion on the floor to approve with the condition about on-premise consumption only. We have a second for Mr. Bruchak. And now to Alder Evers.
Well, thanks, everyone. I thought I had time to walk my dog. I guess I should have been in more of a hurry. The motion with the condition is as I requested. Everyone's very excited to see Marie's business continue to grow and prosper. That neighborhood, from what I understand, is concerned about carry-out sales at restaurants, which is a trend at restaurants and taverns that I think we should be aware of. And this neighborhood in particular, given the increase of these kinds of establishments on Monroe Street, are concerned about. So please approve this application with the condition that you've stated of no carry-out vending of alcoholic beverages in any size container. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the well wishes.
Any other discussion? Did you have anything? Any objections to approval? Seeing none, item 39 is approved. Thank you very much, Marissa.
Thank you.
Up next is item 40, Capital, public hearing, new license for Capital WD LLC doing business as to be determined at 167 South Fair Oaks Avenue. Do we have any registrants for this item?
Yes, Stephen Kitchak is registered and in Zoom. And
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for joining us. If you could introduce yourself and let us know what you're planning on doing at your business name to be determined.
I actually did apply for it. I didn't know that I could apply for it right away. But it's just the wine and design that's currently there. And nothing with the business is going to be changing. I'm just simply purchasing the business.
So it will still be wine and design and it'll be doing the same concept?
Yep, same exact everything. I'm just transferring the business and the franchise to myself. And I have contacted the older person, sent an email to Jim up there. I spoke with Captain Edward Marshall. Didn't speak to the older person, and I did not speak to anybody from the neighborhood association. I guess I contacted them. I didn't hear anything back. I did the hearing. It was a very, very hot day, and I sat out there for a good hour by myself, just sweating. So nobody showed up for that either. Captain Marshall wasn't super concerned. He said he's not really that concerned about the paint and sip crowd getting too rowdy. So, yeah, I guess if you guys have any questions, I'm here.
Okay. Committee, are there any questions for the applicant? Mr. Bruchak.
I move approval.
Second by Alder Revere. So on the floor, we have a motion to approve with a second by Alder Revere. Any discussion? Yep.
Are you still there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Did you say in your testimony that you have decided on the doing business as name and it will be Wine and Design?
Yeah, it's just Wine and Design Madison. That's it. I've applied for it, but unfortunately, the DBAs don't come back quite as quick as the LLC turned around for me. It said it was going to be taking like 4 to 6 weeks, which I thought was I mean, the LLC took 2 days. So I've never done this before. I've never owned a business, but there's a very difference between the LLC and the DBA. So.
The reason I ask is just in the interest of transparency, if we could update your application. And I was going to ask the same question of the next applicant as well, where we have to be determined as the DBA. So we could update on your application and then also on our legislative tracking program that it'll be Wine and Design Madison.
Correct.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, any objections to approval? Seeing none, item 40 is approved. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, guys. One more thing. I used to play basketball with Chuck back in the day at Princeton Club, and he's kind of a bully. You know you are, Chuck. Good to see you up there, buddy.
You notice how he called him Chuck after it was approved.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You got to wait for it.
Yep. Thanks.
Smart man.
Yeah. Next up, item 41, public hearing, new license, MPL Corporation Investment doing business as to be determined at 823 Williamson Street. Jim, do we have any registrants for this item?
Yeah, we have two registrants, Rajan Talwar and Amit Kumar, and they are both in support and wishing to speak. I don't see them in Zoom. There is a 414 number in Zoom, and I don't think they're here. Oh. Someone named Paran has popped up into Zoom.
Twice.
Twice.
If I may, my name is Michael Martinez. I'm a friend of Amit Kumar, and he's trying to log on.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have his phone.
Okay.
It looks like we got one unmuted.
I see someone named Paran in Zoom. Are you able to speak? Although there's two. Try both of them. Let's let everyone speak. Hello?
Hello.
Who is this?
I'm Amit Kumar.
Okay.
Okay, Amit, if you could introduce yourself and let us know what you're planning to do with this new license.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Amit Kumar. Our plan to operate a convenience store offering a wide range of quality consumer products, including fine wares, premium wares, ciders, dairy products, and also including like grocery, Wisconsin lottery, high quality meat, trying to put everything under one roof for convenience for the community over there. And we are trying to put the name on Willie Mart at 823 Williamson Street.
Okay. Just looking at a couple things real quick. And it looks like from the Legistar file that we have, you met with the Neighborhood Association. They have an attachment with conditions. Also, did you get a chance to meet with the alder of the district?
We are trying to contact with the alder, and she's unable to attend the informational meeting. And we are trying to contact with email, but she replied back us to she's unavailable to meet. So we didn't meet the elder person. Other than we meet everyone, like we have the positive response from the captain. He has no concern with our plan. He's wishing us good luck. And with the co-chairman, Eric and Camille, everybody voted for us in the association meeting we attended that time.
Okay. Committee, do we have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Burshak.
Hi, thanks for staying with us so long. Did you see the conditions recommended by the Neighborhood Association?
Yes, we are agree with that.
And you said you're, what'd you say about the conditions?
Yeah, we are agree with those conditions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Burchak.
I move to approve with the conditions as stated in the letter from the Marquette Neighborhood Association. These are the standard conditions. The establishment shall not sell, dispense, or give away fermented malt beverages in the original container in amounts less than the amount contained in a six-pack of 12-ounce bottles or cans, etc. The establishment shall not sell, dispense, or give away flavored fortified wines in the original container with alcohol content more than 12.5% ABV, etc., and sales of alcohol shall not be limited to beer, wine, cider, and fermented malt beverages only. And if anyone wants me to read the conditions verbatim, I will, but I think we're all familiar with them.
Alder Revere.
Thank you. I'll second the motion. I do have a question or two for the applicant, please.
Okay. You can ask.
Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Can you, obviously you've been to our committee several times recently, so congratulations on your expansion hopes in Madison. Remind me, are you the owner of both the South Park Street, Amico, and the BP on Atwood Avenue?
Yes. I'm the co-owner. Like me and my brother own those.
Both establishments you're the full or partial owner of?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, so I've patronized both of your establishments on again Atwood Avenue and South Park Street, and I do have one concern that I want to share with you that I hope you don't replicate in this relatively brand new apartment building on Willie Street, and that is your signage. You perhaps aren't aware of this, but Madison does have a fairly strong sign code, and I believe that you have too many signs on both Atwood Avenue and South Park Street, and specifically flashing neon signs in Madison are illegal under our sign code. So if you could do, if you could do us a favor and not have any of your neons at your other establishments flashing, and make sure that, assuming you move forward and with the new store on Willie Street, that you try not to have too much signage in the windows, for CPD and vapes and all the signs that I've seen at your other gas stations. That would be appreciated. It's definitely illegal to have them flashing, as some are at your other stations, but there's also a requirement as to what percentage of the window can be covered through signs. And so if you need guidance on that, the zoning staff in the planning department enforces that and can help you. Do you understand my concern?
Yeah, I can understand, and we can do the limited signage. We can keep in mind your concern.
I'd appreciate that very much, and I know the folks on Willie Street will appreciate the store windows not looking too junky.
Yeah, we can agree, because we are going to serve the community. We are going to serve over there, and they don't like us. There is no to be over there. So we are going to be agree with that community.
I appreciate you taking care of the signage. Thank you very much, and good luck with the new store.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objections to approval? Seeing none, item 41 is approved. Thank you very much. Next up, our last item for new licenses is a public hearing for Kettle Black Kitchen LLC, doing business as Kettle Black Kitchen at 1835 Monroe Street. Do we have any registrants for this item, Jim?
We do. Two, Sarah Anderson, in support available to answer questions, and Christopher Lund. They're both members, and Sarah is also the agent.
Okay, if you guys could come up here. Yes.
You wonder why you're last on the agenda, it's based on when you turn to
Okay, if you guys could introduce yourselves and let us know what you're doing over at Kettle Black.
All right, my name is Sarah Anderson. We purchased Kettle Black on August 1st from Brian Hamilton, who had Kettle Black Kitchen. So it was an operating restaurant. We have a little bit different of a menu, not much different. I mean, he would argue it's very different, I guess. Yeah, he's the chef, so. It's been a lifelong dream of my husband and I, and our daughter married a chef, and that brought us together. And the Vilas, now that I'm aware, I'm in the Vilas neighborhood, not the Dungeon Monroe. My kids all went to West, my husband went to West, and we've loved this area. So that is, I guess, me.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what to say at all. They requested that I was here, so I'm here. I'm the chef. It's fun. We do modern Latin food with a French influence. I come from the Southwest. I was born in California and then raised in Arizona, so I'm bringing that Southwestern food. Yeah.
And it looks like, so I assume, I'm going to ask, did you guys get a chance to meet with the neighborhood association, the alder, and have a public meeting?
Yeah, we had a public meeting. Unfortunately, we reached out to the alder. I know that he wrote something too. We did end up connecting yesterday, and I reached out to the Dungeon Monroe neighborhood and not the Vilas. So we did not, unfortunately. I know that Alder Evers did talk to Doug, but I have not been able to yet.
Yep, Alder Evers.
Thank you, Chair. Sarah reached out to Dungeon Monroe instead of Vilas, not knowing that she's actually in Vilas. This is a license transfer. I've spoken with Doug. There are no objections to this being approved, with the caveat that the same condition that you had on number 39, that the alcohol sales be limited to that which would be consumed on premises and not for any carry-out purposes. In other words, if someone is ordering carry-out food, that they not have the option to have a carry-out can or bottle of beer or a small bottle of liquor or a bottle of wine included, that consumption be limited to on premises. I assume the applicant would be okay with that.
We are.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? Alder Miadzi.
Motion to approve.
And is that motion with the condition?
Yes, motion with the conditions of number 39.
Okay. So no off-site consumption. And we have a second by Mr. Bruchak. Any other discussion?
I just forwarded to the committee. This wasn't in the publicly available packet, but Mr. Lund's background check was flagged, and so I forwarded a copy of the background check report to you.
I haven't gotten it yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, Captain, could you go through the background check with us, please?
Sure. In the background check, there was 3 instances for Mr. Lund that were flagged. They're all very old. They are a decade old or more. So These were all out of state in Gilbert, Arizona, so I don't have any information on them other than it shows a 2013 OWI first conviction in Gilbert, Arizona, a 2014 OWI second conviction in Gilbert, Arizona, with a 2014 possession of drug paraphernalia in Gilbert, Arizona. And I don't have any reports or anything. And that, again, like I said, is 10 years old.
Committee, do we have any questions for the applicant regarding the background check? Alder Rivera.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sorry we have to ask this.
I expected it.
Did you disclose this on your application, these convictions?
I didn't apply. I was just on the member of the LLC,
Yeah, he's just a member of our LLC.
so I'm not sure she.
No, we did a background check on you, otherwise we wouldn't, the police department wouldn't have that information.
Oh, I know, but I didn't submit
yeah.
any sort of application.
Jim, do you want to explain how every LLC member has a background form and the photocopy of your driver's license?
Yeah, we did all that.
Oh, we did. Yes, we did
Yeah.
disclose these.
So do you remember,
There's a lot.
remember now?
Yes, I do. It was,
Yes.
yeah. Open 2
So
restaurants. in a
do
year.
you remember mentioning these on that
Yes, I
application?
remember.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure because
I can go over.
we don't, oh no, they're so old. I think they're self-explanatory unless you want to, the mic is yours if you want to say
No, I don't
something
need to,
about your past when you were probably a teenager, who knows? Yes. Yes. I just wanted to make sure that you disclose them because we don't like it when folks try to hide these things. So
I can confirm that all 3 were listed on the.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. That was my only question, just so we could clear that up. Otherwise, good luck and congratulations.
Okay. Any other registrants for this item?
No.
No. Okay. Any, so we have a motion, we have a second for approval. Any objections to approval? Seeing none, this item is approved. Item 42 is approved. Thank you very much for sitting here this evening. Jim, if you want to check in, I think we had some. Okay, so we will get to you next. Okay, so, yep, hold on. Well, we referred it, so we need to do,
Reconsider.
yep. So we have a motion to reconsider item 37?
7?
Okay, yep.
See, you should have taken.
No, not item 37. CGR? Oh, okay. Yep, item 37, okay. Too many things going on tonight. So, did we get a second?
Mr. Bruchek.
Bruchek, okay. Any objections to reconsidering this item? Seeing none. Before us, we have item 37, public hearing new license for CJR Investment Corporation doing business as Medicine Pantry at 2022 Fordham Avenue. If you want to come up now and introduce yourself and let us know what you're planning to do.
Thank you for reconsidering. I had to drive up here, so. My name is Mohammed Mohyuddin. Currently, I'm running the Madison Pantry and decided to lease it from the owners, which is probably going to come if the ALRC approves it. Thinking about leasing it, keeping the same operations, running the same way. Nothing is changing from the previous owner.
Committee, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Is it a question for you? Nothing's changed from the previous to this one?
Okay. Alder Verveer, while he's looking that up.
Thank you. Welcome back. I know you were with us a few months ago,
Yeah.
earlier this year.
Yep.
And I'm sorry you had to run down here. I hope you didn't have far to drive. I'm glad you made it in time. But just to confirm what you were saying, why don't you just repeat? It's been a long day for me. So when this was before us earlier this year, you weren't the owner?
I was part of the owner. I'm changing it over from 100%.
Oh, I
over
see.
50, and then we changed the
corporate entity, which is why it's a new license.
Exactly, because cannot have that. So I was a 30% owner. I bought it out completely. So now I'm 100% owner now. This was, I think it was in April.
I see that now.
April, I
have
think we applied for the new license. And then we modified quite a bit things. We still have some work to do, but hopefully, so far everything's been going smooth. I did talk to the captain or the police department. I called, left a message. I haven't gotten a call. We did set up a association meeting, and it was on September 2nd, and I haven't seen anybody come. We were there for a couple hours.
Okay. Captain.
Yes, reference this. I know Captain Gary did acknowledge that he hasn't had a chance to speak with this individual yet. But in looking at the application, as long as it stays with the same operating procedures, he has no concerns with this application.
Okay. One question I have, Jim, is there any restrictions on the current license? No.
What's that?
In the town of Madison, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, that's why.
I think it was annexed. I don't know what, but it was annexed into City of Madison.
Yeah, attached.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Correct. There was no conditions of license, so that previous license could sell hard liquor because it was a carryover from town of Madison.
Yes, I was just thinking about that, looking at the application from earlier this year. And the town never had any conditions that we know of, so.
No.
When we added this, when we last had this, we allowed for a clean license.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hold on. Alder Mianzi.
Oh, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second by Mr. Bruchak. Any discussion? Now you can go sit down.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Seeing none, no.
Is that without conditions?
Is that without, yep. No discussions, any objections to approval? Seeing none, this item is approved. Thank you.
I just got one question. When is this going to be presented to the city council for the final approval?
The final approval, this goes to the city council
October 8th.
on October 8th.
October, because then we can do the closing on right after that. Thank you very much, guys.
Yep, thanks. Thanks. Okay, and now we are up to the report of the Madison Police Department. Captain, what do you have for us? I hear you have some excitement downtown with underage drinking.
Yeah, so we, with the students back, our central community policing team is kind of out in full force doing the bar checks that they do on a routine basis and really trying to set the tone early with the students as well as the establishments. So in doing that on September 5th, they did a bar check at Chasers 2.0 at 408 West Gorham Street. That bar has 293 capacity, and with a check in there, they ended up with 157 underage patrons. So they are following up on that with appropriate citations and things like with the bar, as well as the underage. Some of the underage individuals that were in there were also kind of repeat offenders that we have had issues with being underage at other bars, so with other IDs. So I think it was largely a fake ID issue and not a non-ID. It wasn't that there was no ID check. It was a lot of fake IDs that were getting in. So we'll also be working with them again on some retraining and things like that with their staff to make sure that they are checking IDs appropriately and that this doesn't happen again. So that was the big one. Other than that, we haven't had any issues like that. Like I said, we're continuing to do those checks, and there is no other known issues to me at any of the other licensed establishments across the city.
Okay. Jim, you said you're raising your hand?
Yeah. Captain, so I remember previously we had a situation where there was a lot of underagers and the establishment or the folks checking IDs were relying pretty much mostly on an electronic system to do it and not actually looking at the IDs. Is that similar to this situation, or is it different?
So I was hoping that all the reports would be done exactly on that, and I wasn't able to connect with the CPT to see exactly what system had been being used. But yes, I mean, there are systems that are better than others. And so there's some that we, when bars are looking for recommendations and things, that we tend to see that there is a certain ID check that can catch those more. But in fairness to some of the fake IDs have gotten so good this year or in the past recent years that it is very difficult in some of these situations to monitor that and catch that.
Okay. Mr. Rushak.
I hope, so I think I heard you say, Captain Kamosky, that the reports aren't done, so we don't know what scanner they were using at Chasers 2.0 at this time. I know the city attorney and the central district captain sent a letter 2 years ago to all the downtown or all the establishments in that area, talking about the best practices for checking IDs and the technology to catch increasing in-quality fake IDs. So I hope they followed that advice, because they did come to our committee 2 years ago, roughly, and assured us that they would take all recommendations and do the due diligence. And then secondly, if the new technology or the best technology on the market, that fake IDs are getting past that already, that's concerning to me. I'm concerned about the fake IDs, not just underage drinking, but also what else are they making these for? Fraud, terrorism, much worse crimes than underage drinking. So I guess that was more of a comment than a question, but that's all I have on this.
Alder Revere.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Captain, for the information. As you know, you and I communicated a bit about this when this occurred. And I was wondering, I obviously heard that you don't have all the reports yet from your officers, but do you know approximately how many citations at this point were issued? I know the incident report referenced that citations will be issued to some at a later date, and I'm wondering, is that still in progress by the Central CPT?
Yes, it is still in progress, which is, I think, why a lot of the reporting isn't done yet. So I know they spent it, this was a call that took them a couple hours when they were there. So they do have a process of gathering information, and then with some of the IDs, or excuse me, with some of the citations just having to be, because of the sheer number of them, just having to be written later. I don't have the numbers on exactly how many individuals were repeat offenders, but that I can for sure have that at our next meeting too, and just shore that up with you.
I appreciate that. I note the incident report references over 150 underage patrons, but it doesn't mention how many citations in total. So yeah, I think that would be interesting information for us at our next meeting.
Sure.
I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you know in terms of, is there any sort of, from again, our community policing team, if they have scheduled any immediate training for the staff at Chasers 2.0 or anything of that sort?
And I'll
Following
check
this
in with them.
incident?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll check in with them on that. They are, as you, I'm sure, are aware, they are very dogged in this pursuit, and they definitely will be doing the appropriate follow-up and doing the work with the city attorney's office too, to make sure that these infractions, try to prevent these infractions from happening again. And whether that is staff education, whether that is the technology, and those kind of things, I am confident that they will follow through on that and hopefully get this righted for this establishment.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain.
Alderman Yazzie.
Well, everybody took my question already, but do you have like a data trend from year to year that you guys process during this time, or?
As far as like number of citations, or like what we see as far as when the students are back, or?
Yes, like a trend, data trend, citations and so forth.
Yeah, I don't know that it's something that our analysts could probably pull out of the data. I'm not sure that we actually, I've never seen a report presented to me from our analysts showing that specific data, but that's always something too that we can find out. We do, though, see a trend in the early months of school returning, especially with underclassmen or people that are new to Madison. Students that are new to Madison, with some of the underage drinking behavior escalating early on in the school year. And so that is something that we work towards trying to get a handle on that and set the expectation right away that, that people cannot be drinking underage in an alcohol establishment, and our one of our biggest concerns for that is underage individuals who are drinking served alcohol in establishments. They're out in the downtown area. We largely see cases sometimes where then people can be victimized. So they're underage, they're intoxicated, they're alone, they're walking home, it's 2:00 in the morning, those kind of things. And that is one of the key things that we feel really strongly on trying to prevent from happening. And one of the ways is that setting that tone, like I said, and trying to curb this behavior where people will try to sneak into the bar or use a fake ID or somebody else's ID to drink in an establishment.
No, thank you.
Are there any other questions for the captain tonight? Seeing none, have a good night. And last but not least, it's report of the city clerk's office. Jim, what do you have for us?
Nothing too much I would draw attention to. I would just say that we got 190 new operators since last month, and I'm guessing that has a lot to do with students being back in town. So I would expect to probably see those numbers continue to rise, at least for the next month.
Would someone who is cited at Chasers 2.0 get flagged for our background check and operator's license application?
That's a good question. I know it flags for felonies and habitual law offenders if they have a certain number of citations within a given time. Yeah, 3 or more. I know this would substantially relate to alcohol, but I don't know if this particularly would flag them.
I think it would be highly relevant if, say, person X was cited for possession of a fake ID and, being inside a bar and consuming alcohol underage, and then a year later applied for an operator's license. Seemed relevant, but maybe we can't do that.
Let's see, Staff Attorney McReynolds.
Thank you, Chair. Any applicant though would still have to disclose that on their application because the application asks for any citations. So while it might not be flagged, they would need to disclose it. And if they didn't disclose it, it would be flagged. The other thing is I can ask if Jim can resend out to everyone the kind of list of criteria for the background checks. Thanks.
Yep, that would be great.
Yeah, we do it when they apply. We do advise them when they're filling out the background check, and that's if they apply with us in person, because some people do apply online, is that we ask them to disclose anything more than a parking ticket.
Alder Revere.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Since Assistant City Attorney is still with us, could I ask that at next month's meeting, could we, and I realize there's a wall of separation in your office, so I'm asking you just simply be a messenger, but ask that our prosecutor either be present if she's available, or if not, prepare a memo in writing, giving us and sharing with us an update on prosecutions, because we haven't had such an update in a very, very long time, and this is just the latest in the number of high-profile large busts of licensed premise where either the prosecution hasn't occurred or it's tied up in municipal court, and the license holders haven't been before us for their demerit point assignments as part of the discipline process. So just having a status update would be most helpful. I realize this most recent case on West Gorham Street would not come before our committee anytime soon, but there are several others that I could think of that we haven't seen the results of. So again, I know that you can't speak to it. You're not the prosecutor. There's a separation in your office for good reason. But if you don't mind generously being the messenger, I'd greatly appreciate that. Yeah.
No problem. I can pass that along.
Thank you. And I was certainly prepared to ask Jen that tonight if she could be with us, but obviously she couldn't. So thanks very much.
And Mike, since your mic is on, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I would be pleased to move to adjourn at this very early hour for us.
Second.
Any objections? See none. We are adjourned at 9:03 p.m. Thank you,
I
everyone.
can't believe it.
Have a good night.